Message is, we don't panic, we just find solutions.
This is bare their souls, uncensored and no controls. This is bare their souls, with 3 likable a-holes.
The following is rated TV MALSV. It contains strong language, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Can you shut the fuck up?
Speak. Fuck! Good boy.
Don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
I think the biggest thing is, I mean, they're not accepting anything below the standard, and I mean, we're being held accountable. And when you fuck up, excuse my language.
There's a Chicago Bears podcast. Unlike most others.
To the end zone. Touchdown! Roma Dunze!
3 guys on the broadcast are a lot like brothers. This is bare their souls, uncensored and no controls. This is bare their souls, with 3 likable a-holes.
Floats it down the sideline and somehow swift.
Let's go! This is bare their souls, uncensored and no control.
This is going to be intercepted.
This is bare their souls.
We have a lot of lofty goals. We're trying to win the Super Bowl.
I've been growing since Ben's been here.
We got a lot of different guys that can play a lot of different positions.
Being able to have guys that can play any type of role is just exciting as a defense.
What I've come to learn about DJ is he's a He's a physical, run after catch, just get me the ball type of guy.
You have to pay the toll. You have to pay the price. It's a privilege to be on this defense.
Get ready now for Zim, the Tooch, and the Podfather Eldo Gandia.
Way to fuck up the intro. Welcome, everybody. My name is Aldo Gandia. Alongside me is another one of the three a-holes.
Likeable a-holes.
Likeable a-holes. And our third likable a-hole is out tonight. He's actually heading to Chicago, I think, tomorrow. And so he's got the night off and actually might have the night off next week, too. But
Is he driving now, or?
I think he's no.
He's like posting in the text room. Stop texting and driving.
Yes, I think he is working tonight and then getting home. And he said he might pop in if we go a little long because he won't get home until about the second hour. So we'll see. He is working, as he says in the chat.
Okay.
By the way, we have somebody to replace him, but he hasn't arrived yet. So we will announce him when he gets here. He's somebody that I've been looking forward to having back on the show. Tooch invited him. I think it was 3-4 months ago.
I did Roy Illwill. This is Danikin, though.
This is Danikin. I guess I invited him before. Danikin.
I haven't done a show with Danikin yet.
Oh, really? I thought you did. Well, didn't you do?
We did Roy Illwill 79.
Yeah.
Was my guest, yeah.
Yeah.
He's the partner on Three Kings.
Yes, he's one. So those are two of the three. I think Nestor Damas is the third. We'd love to have all three of them on, and I've tried to make that happen, but it still hasn't happened. Thank you for all the compliments about the Open. We have got a lot of Chicago Bears content to talk about. We also have all starts, of course, with Johnny's Bear State of Affairs, but we will also be talking
Ben Johnson effect, Aldo.
I love it. How'd you come up with that idea?
I guess the Ben Johnson effect, right?
I just saw the little presser with Caleb snip that little piece, and I was like, I got to write about this because, this is what we've waited a long time for, like a hard ass coach. I was talking about Jerry Burns, the Vikings coach.
Yes, sure.
There used to be stories about him where after a loss, he would sit waiting for them to go into the locker room. They had these like piercing eyes, and he would just stare every player down as they came.
Before him, Bud Grant was real evil coach out there. And Cliff Victoria says he saw Happy Gilmore too. Now I don't care about spoilers anymore. Movie brought back a lot of happy. We talked about it last week, didn't we?
Yep.
So remind me, you liked it, but you didn't think it was cinema art. And nobody should expect it.
It had two things going for it, and it was it's a sports movie, and it had like a cast of hundreds of guest cameos and stuff.
My
Made
gosh.
a lot of fun. It had some funny moments. So it's like,
I enjoyed it.
If you're really high, you probably love it.
And I was. And I'm gonna get really high again tonight. Maybe our guest is gonna get high tonight. I see him backstage. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to come on, Dan. No, double thumbs up. So here he comes, our guest from Three Kings of the Midway, Danikin. We're gonna refer to you as Dan. Is that okay, Danikin?
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. How y'all doing?
Hey, Dan.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. So happy that you're here. How's the summer treating you?
So far, so good. I can't complain. Having a good time, man. Enjoying it. My kid just went back to school. He's been back for what? Well, this is his first full week back. So, yeah.
Nice. Always good when the kids leave the house.
always. A little bit of rest.
Exactly. Tooch has a long way to go for that. He's got two girls, and they're like 10 and 8.
So 7 and 9, and then I have a 26-year-old son. He's on his own already.
Oh man, you started over, bro.
I started over. Yeah, I married.
Got one. He's 8.
I married my Filipina pen pal.
That was nice.
And we had 2 kids. Yep, 2 girls.
They had sex twice, and so he's 2.
And then we stopped. Got 2 for 2, man. I'm tired of 1,000 batting average.
Exactly. And since the last time you were here, Tooch has got also a new eye. He's got a bionic eye, that right eye. Tell us, give us an update on that, Tooch.
Well, I mean, I don't like it. I had cataracts, and they like, imagine if like some guys like cleaning and vacuuming inside your eyeball. It sucks. You're like sitting there and
during the operation.
It's like, man, my eyeball feels like a plastic bubble. That's what I was thinking when I was in there. I'm like,
shouldn't you have been out?
No, you have to be awake for it. But it's like they give you a little fentanyl blast, to relax you and numb some of the pain and stuff. Yeah.
How many times have you taken it since?
I know. I'm looking. I'm on the corner in Iowa. I'm searching, looking for some fentanyl dealer in Des Moines. No.
Hook him up, Dan.
It's like they made me. I could fucking see out to outer space, but I can't see like up close. It's like,
oh my gosh.
I'm like thinking about having them replace the one that's already in there, and then do my left eye, or they'll see like they're gonna put the left eye for close up and the right eye for distance, and then hopefully my brain like sorts it out.
Got you.
We'll figure
right,
it
left
out.
type swagger there. You know what I mean? Go back
exactly.
But I mean, I couldn't see it all. My left eye is like blind now too. It's like just in time, but I didn't know what was wrong with me. The doctor went to the doctor and he said, "Hey, I think your corneas are going bad." And I was like, "Well, what? There's nothing you can really do." And then like I went back and he was like, "Wait, you got cataracts, And then I was like, "Oh shit! Well, at least that's correctable." So I had the surgery last week on my right eye, and then I'll have the left eye done on Friday. So we'll see. Fingers crossed it works out. But
what about that asshole? Are you gonna have that corrected?
Tightening it up
exactly.
Tightening it up for the fall.
The next time you come to Chicago. Heidi says that her eldest daughter, is leaving the house, rented an apartment closer to her job, and Heidi has been crying and cutting her veins with lettuce. She is a cook. Oh, wow. Heidi, I'm so sorry. That sucks. So how many kids you got, Dan?
Just one little boy. Yeah, he's 8 years old. So he's 3rd grade now. He's doing his thing.
Yeah, it's right in between my girls.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I would love to throw a party, with podcasters and borrowing people and families.
Yeah, that'd be dope. That'd be real dope.
Man. Dan, you're in Chicago?
No, I'm in Atlanta actually. But
that's what I thought.
Chicago. Yeah, I'm in Atlanta right now.
That's what I thought. What are you hearing about Kirk Cousins? You going to play any, or should I drop him from my dynasty football team?
Man, I think it's going to be Penix out here.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's going to be. Yeah, Kirk Cousins is, I don't know what they did in Atlanta, why they did what they did last year, but hey, that's what it is. They've moved on, it seems, to Michael Penix 100%.
It was wild. They signed Cousins, that big contract, then drafted a quarterback 8th overall.
Immediately after.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a big Penix fan. I think he's going to be a superstar in this league. So I don't blame them for picking that, but I do blame them for giving Kirk Cousins $80 million. And he was coming off like a Achilles or a knee injury or something. What the fuck you doing?
Crazy.
And then the owners complain about salaries to the players when they just throw around money like that. Unbelievable.
And the owners are a trip because basically they like to, pit the fans against the players.
Yes.
And act like the players are being greedy when in actuality, it's really the owners that are super greedy in this situation.
Exactly. When you have a franchise that you bought at like, I don't know, 20, 200 million, whatever, and that franchise is worth over $1 billion now, shut the fuck up. Don't complain.
5 billion now. Right? Like 5 billion.
Exactly. So anyway, Dan, we always start the show with Tooch giving his essay, Bear State of Affairs, and that acts as our framework for a lot of the stuff that we'll be talking about. And then for the audience's sake, a lot of people coming in, we are going to pay tribute to Denzel Washington, one of my acting heroes, who recently announced that he's going to slow down his career. He's not going to retire immediately, but he's going to make fewer and fewer movies and eventually retire soon. So when I heard that, man, my heart skipped a beat. But let's start with Johnny Santucci, Bear State of Affairs. Here it comes.
It's time for John's Bears State of Affairs. He got nothing but truth bombs about the Bears. He tells it like it is and always has, with no agenda, just a little pizza. Sit back, light it up, and crack open a beer. It's time for John's Bears State of Affairs. State of Affairs. It's time for John's Bears State of Affairs. State of Affairs. It's time for John's Bears State of Affairs. State of Affairs. It's time for John's Bears State of Affairs.
Yeah, all right, Bear State of Affairs, man. Although you're going to have to introduce Danikin and I to those singers. They sound hot.
They are hot. They're not real, but they're hot.
Those AI singers, man. I bet they're hot. Yeah, all right. Bear State of Affairs, man. We're off-season week 30, man. What's happened in Barflies? Yeah, well, the Bears are in the thick of training camp still. Yeah, the pads are on, and practices have been really physical. Yeah, more physical than the Bears have seen since the days of Lovie Smith. Yeah, quote, the Bears just concluded a long-term period that was fully live and very physical, said Bears beat reporter Brad Biggs. Yeah, there were 2 skirmishes. It was one of the most intense periods of practices. Ben Johnson and his coaches, they've been running a very physical training camp this year. Yeah, said defensive end Montez Sweat, quote, I've had the most live periods this camp than I've had in my whole career. What? Crazy. Look at Montez working hard, man. Yeah, last season, Bears players, they begged to be coached harder. Yeah, guess what, Aldo? They're getting what they asked for. Yeah.
They sure fucking are.
That's right. Yeah, said head coach Ben Johnson in his introductory press conference. Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
That's a W.
Woo, yeah, there's been an emphasis at Hallis Hall of throwing tough tasks at players and seeing how they react. Yeah, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yes, this mantra emphasizes the need for players to embrace challenges and push themselves to reach their full potential. Yeah, Ben Johnson's message highlights the importance of being challenged and pushed beyond one's comfort zone. Yep, this is all part of the Ben Johnson effect. Woohoo! Yeah, what is the Ben? Yeah, look at that picture too. It's a regal cool. Ben Johnson. Yeah, what is the Ben Johnson effect? Well, it's the gravitas of a coach who's driven to succeed. Yeah, a coach who's willing to do whatever it takes to win, Aldo.
Cut those balls off.
Yeah, cut off his own testicles for a Super Bowl trophy, Danikin. Yeah, Ben Johnson effect. It elevates both player and coach to a
I love it.
Right. They're cut already. Yeah, Ben Johnson effect elevates both player and coach to a higher level of football. It rubs off on everyone around him. It's toughness. Ben Johnson, he's a tough coach, evidenced by his very tough and physical practices. Quote, I feel like that's what we should practice like every day, said Tyreek Stevenson. That's the message the team shot to us, the coaching staff and everybody. That's what we need to see out there every day to be a championship defense and championship offense. Moving forward, that's what we want to say at practice. It's attention to detail, too. Ben Johnson, he's a perfectionist. He's going to stop everything and say, this isn't how we do it, or do it again. It's not good enough, said quarterback Tyson Bagent. This coaching staff plays no games. They won't let
Goddamn right.
They won't let players get away with anything. They've raised the bar for the players. It's pushing players to be their best. Yeah, it's smart football. That's something the Bears haven't had in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, said Caleb Williams, we were marching down the field and the headset started to go out on me and I got kind of frustrated. Ben came over me and said, have a few plays in mind if that ever happens in a game. Yeah. How about that? Yeah. Later on, we found out Ben Johnson was the guy who sabotaged the headsets, Aldo.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's my head coach.
That's good stuff.
That's the Ben Johnson effect. Yeah, said Bengals head coach Zach Taylor, quote, Ben Johnson's one of the smartest people I've ever been around in my life. Yeah, he also said that he knows Ben will have the Bears ready to go when they meet the Bengals in week 9. Yeah, Ben Johnson is smart enough to surround himself with smart people. He's assembled a phenomenal coaching staff. Yeah, hiring Dennis Allen to run the defense. That was a really smart move. And Ben won't have to worry about the defensive side of the ball. Now, and he's a former head coach and experienced defensive coordinator who'll take pressure off of Ben Johnson. Yeah, as well. Johnson retained Richard Hightower as special teams coordinator. And Coach Hightower, he was retained from Matt Eberflus's staff, who retained him from Matt Nagy's staff. How about that? And Johnson, he brought in talented young coaches like Eric Bieniemy, Al Harris, and assistant head coach Antoine Randall L. Yeah, this coaching staff feels different, Aldo.
It does.
These coaches, they got high standards. They demand accountability. Said Montez Sweat, they're not accepting anything below the standard. When you fuck up, you're being presented in front of the team. He dropped that F-bomb on live TV. On ESPN Live. Yeah, Ben Johnson said his coaches have raised the standard for football at Hallis Hall. Yeah, get comfortable being uncomfortable. This coaching staff, they're making things uncomfortable and difficult because it's always more difficult to do things the right way than to do them the wrong way.
Yep.
Yeah, no one has it more difficult than Caleb Williams. He's kind of all by himself, man. Yeah, Caleb. Said Bears beat reporter Dan Weeder, I would say there's a push to make sure on a daily basis that Caleb understands the commitment level that's required to reach the heights that he and the team are trying to get to. And look, man, Caleb, he's a different kind of quarterback. Yeah. He's different than Bears fans are used to, man. Yeah, Bears fans are not going to cut him too much slack, Danikin.
No.
That's right, yeah. Here's the truth about Caleb Williams, man. Yeah, his bar for being great and the expectations on him, well, they're much higher than any other number 1 overall pick in history simply because he's a Bears quarterback.
That is true.
If Caleb doesn't work out, will Bears fans ever believe in any quarterback ever again? Cutler, Trubisky, Fields, they all had potential and didn't work out. Yeah. That's the Ben Johnson effect.
I guess the Ben Johnson effect, right?
Yep. No, last season was marked by toxic individuality. The team broke apart. They mutinied. Ben Johnson won't let that happen. He's laying a foundation where the team will not break apart. It's a foundation for long-term success. It's all part of the Ben Johnson effect. That's Bears state of affairs, Aldo.
Outstanding.
I never thought about it that way. Thank you.
He told it like it is and always will. Listen next week to get an earful of whatever's happening with the Chicago Bears. It always happens here with John's State of Affairs. If you have to disagree, he's got a decree. Go fuck your fist cause you're on his blacklist. You just heard the bare truth right here and now. John gave it to you straight cause he's got no sacred cows. If you have to disagree, he's got a decree. Go fuck your fist cause you're on his blacklist. This was John's Bear State of Affairs.
Soulz did it. I like that.
All right. Thanks, Dad.
Very, very nice. Very nice. And that is the main topic because we saw or we heard from reports, Dan, that this team was hitting on yesterday's practice, yesterday being Tuesday. They had the day off to recuperate. And now they got the Dolphins in. And this, I got to say, this was kind of a master strategic move by Ben Johnson. He got them ready for the Dolphins and the hitting they're going to see on Friday by having each of them fuck each other up. Right, Dan?
That's it. That's it. You know what I mean? They went to it. They went to work. You know what I mean? And that's what we wanted to see, right? A stark contrast in what we seen last year with Hard Knocks and all that bull crap that was going on, right?
Yep, exactly.
Soft stuff. Don't fight. Don't do this. No, they was fighting, and you see how the fans reacted to it, man. We love it.
Exactly.
Yep.
It is like a badge that you earn in the game of football. Now, I saw somebody in the chat say that this came from Campbell. Bear with me. Love what Ben is doing, but we all know the physical practices come from him being in Detroit around the kneecap biter, Dan Campbell. And I agree with you. You know, all coaches are going to learn stuff from other coaches. And there was this news report. I want to just share 50 seconds of it. This was Dan Campbell talking about a current practice and how he's treating.
Dan Campbell is making a point to put his best players against one another in a scrimmage type format. We got a glimpse into seeing some of that action unfold again with the first team offense going against the first team defense. Some explosive plays on both sides, interceptions on some tip balls, some big pushes on offense. It's exactly what Dan Campbell wants to see with his second team leading the preseason effort in Atlanta later this week.
Really, you know, all of our guys that may not play in these preseason games, you know, this is their chance to get that type of preseason work, but under, you know, a more controlled environment. That's why I like it. So we've got to put this type of intensity on them. But yeah, we'll be able to tell a ton. But the linebackers, the tight ends, the running backs, you know, that's where, man, they really, really benefit from this type of work.
So that's the key, right? So if on Friday, when the Dolphins come in for scrimmage, you throw your starters up against them in a controlled environment, and then 2 days later, when the real game is in, you got the second and third stringers out there because that's not a controlled environment, and people are more likely to sustain injury. Anybody have a problem with that, Tooch? Dan?
Nope.
I like the thinking. Now, you know, we did complain. I know I did. I was one of the loudest guys complaining when Eberflus and Nagy and all these guys didn't play their starters in exhibition games. But this is a really smart strategic move by Ben Johnson. I don't care where he got it from. Ben Campbell, Vince Lombardi, I don't care. This is smart. And who knows? Maybe he'll trick us up and he'll have the starters come out there for that entire first quarter. I know a couple of teams like I think it was the Eagles I saw on NFL Network. They said they were going to play their starters.
The Titans I saw today.
The Titans.
The starters will play Cam Ward and the starters.
Yeah, which is understandable, you know, rookie quarterback and stuff. But I just love the way this guy is coaching. It's the Ben Johnson effect. Dan, I think the last time we talked, you were like with the jury is still out on this guy. I can't say for sure he's going to be good. What do you think now?
I think Ben Johnson's going to be good. I think he's going to be a decent coach. I already believe that he's a really good coach, right? I like some of the things that he's doing, you know, even this situation. I mean, you have to read your team. You have to be able to read your team. And a lot of people just, you know, oh, it's preseason, blah, blah, blah. You know, you don't play your starters, this, that, and the third. The Bears are a young team. They need the practice. They need the work, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, if you go into it, you know, thinking anything but that, then you're already flawed. I think back to when we had, Matt Nagy. And I remember him not playing Mitch Trubisky for several weeks in the preseason, basically, and then throwing him out against Green Bay. What was it, week 1 in Green Bay, and it was a disaster, right? So you think about it, and it's like, you know, you have to prepare these guys because they're young players. They don't really know the game completely. You got to teach them what you want. You got to demand excellence, so on and so forth. And I think he's doing a good job of it. He's off and running in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, man. I think really the only way that he can fuck this up is if the players, he loses the players somehow. My only concern also is, you start a starter or you give the starter playing time in these preseason games, and there's the injury. Everybody is always concerned about that. Now, when I talked to Greg Gabriel, the former director of scouting for the Bears, he says injuries happen. Don't worry about it. And I'm starting to feel that way. You can't fucking worry about it.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, we used to complain about that Trubisky not playing in the preseason in Barroom, in 2018, 2017, around there.
Yeah.
It's like always just, why are they not playing and get him any reps, live reps?
I mean, he's a young quarterback. He needed the work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing with Caleb. Caleb is good. He's talented, blah, blah, blah. But he needs the work. Let's just be real about it, right? And that's not saying he's bad or he's deficient in some way. He just needs to work. He's a young guy.
Exactly.
He's got to get used to playing under center and play action. I mean, I think I was reading somewhere Jared Goff got rid of the ball like in 2.96 seconds or less, and that was like third in the NFL. And Caleb Williams was about a full second later, which was like 28th in the NFL. So there's things that he's got to work on, and Ben Johnson gave him a list of things of footwork, studying the playbook. And I don't know if you saw Tyson Bagent's interview too, but he was like, I get back to my dorm room and then I'm in the playbook, So they're studying. Yep.
Dan, are you sick of hearing on social media or, maybe from friends and stuff about Bagent should be number one quarterback, or are you not exposed to that?
This is a great topic, by the way.
I'm very much aware of it. I try to steer clear of it because I don't even want to give. See, I heard a long time ago somebody said if you participate with clowns, right, you become part of the circus.
Mm-hmm.
You become part of the circus. So those are people. Those are clowns who are saying that Bagent should be the starting quarterback, so on and so forth. Yep. In my opinion, I'm not participating. I'm not getting involved because I'm not going to be a part of that goofy circus that they got going on. At the end of the day, we got Caleb Williams. He is the quarterback. He is this is number one. He was the number one way before he was drafted.
Mm-hmm.
Let the guy work. Let him grow. Let him grow into his role, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, and what the Bagent lovers fail to recognize is the natural talent that Caleb has, the arm strength, the escapability, all of these things. And they think that because Tyson is more of the traditional quarterback, he takes that drop, he gets rid of the ball quick and so forth, that he's as good or better. And that just ain't the case. I mean, we can get into other reasons too why people are in favor of Caleb, but we don't have to go there because if you're smart, you know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
So the thing is, compare arm strength. We saw it, and I think it was Bagent's first game. He could not hit that deep pass. It was underthrown by 10 yards. And Caleb has to control his arm strength because it's so fantastic. And you look at escapability, like I said. You look at a guy who has played in big stadiums, in prime time, and big, and a young quarterback like Bagent, who has not had that experience, not till he got to the NFL. He never played in a stadium that held more than 30,000 people. So
the offense he ran though at Shepherd was a pro style offense though.
Yes.
So what I wouldn't not be surprised if like Bagent catches on to the offense a little quicker than Caleb.
Mm-hmm.
And just can't wait. You thought the internet was crawling with Bagent stands. Then just wait till that happens, Dan.
Oh my God!
Don't feed the trolls.
Man, they're gonna come out though, definitely.
Oh yeah.
And they don't account for, playing against second, third string defenses, because there's a very good chance that at the end of preseason, Bagent will have better numbers because he will be facing against competition that's not as good as what Caleb will be facing. So unfortunately, there's some very narrow-minded, narrow-sighted people out there, and I just wish they would be off of my timeline when I go on X.
One other thing that you got to remember, and I ask people to remember this all the time, is at this point in the season, when you're a week and 2 weeks into the training camp, the defense is always ahead of the offense. Always, right? Mm-hmm. So when you hear about this, Caleb struggled today, he's going against better defensive players, right? In practice than Bajan is. And those guys are ahead of the offense. They're more prepared for what's going on at that point in time. So people need to understand that before you start passing judgment on what's going on out there on the football field.
Great point. And let's talk about the receivers. Go ahead, Tucci. We're going to make a point.
I was going to say, real quick, the off-season acquisitions are going to play a big part in helping out Caleb Williams because the strength. Ryan Poles made a point of strengthening the interior offensive line, and Detroit ran inside zone, outside zone, third at the rate of third in the NFL. Like 50% of the time under center, they ran outside zone. And Drew Dahlman, the only team, is that his name, Drew Dahlman? The center.
Yes, yeah.
Sorry, I spaced on his name. The team that was first in the NFL in running outside zone was Atlanta. So the acquisition of Drew Dahlman was, a measured acquisition. And then, of course, Joe Thuney, another good interior offensive lineman. These guys are going to run outside zone all day. Mm-hmm. That'll help Caleb if they get that run game going. Take a lot of pressure off of Caleb.
Yep, indeed. That Dan, since you're down in Atlanta, can you tell us about Drew Dahlman, the center?
Oh man, he's a stud, bro. He's dependable. He's going to be there. He's going to fortify the center. He's smart. This is a guy that is well. He's well known, but he's also not only well known, but for the good reasons, for the right reasons, right? A lot of people is like, oh, potential, this, that, and the third. No, he's a proven guy that can go out there and get the job done. And we haven't had that at center in I don't know what. Since when? You know what I mean? Like it's been a decade or something.
Olin Cruz, maybe?
Yeah, Roberto Garza.
Roberto Garza.
So definitely a good player.
And the head coach Ben Johnson was talking about how smart the people in the interior offensive line are, starting with Drew Dahlman. And he's such a good leader there. And then you got Joe Thuney at left guard, and at right guard, hopefully everything's going to work out with Jonah Jackson. But he was talking about how this offensive line is so smart that they're going to be able to run different types of running schemes, inside zone, outside zone, all of this stuff, because those offensive linemen are smart and they can handle that type of variety in their run game. And that to me excites me. Now, anytime you're disguising your offense, disguising your defense, whatever it is to make it more difficult for the opposing team, that's to me the number one winning edge in today's football, because the competition is so tight. Every game is coming down to a field goal or less than a touchdown. You got to figure out ways. And now we have a head coach who has the players to manufacture ways to win. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
Guys, let's talk a little bit about the wide receivers, because we know, of course, besides offensive line play, you need receivers that are going to excel. This is Ben Johnson being asked who, at this point of preseason, who he relies on most in terms of the receivers who know their routes, know where they got to be, and so forth.
I think Cole Kmet. I think DJ Moore. I think Rome Odunze. Those are the three that stand out to me first and foremost. I think OZ's doing a great job of being where he's supposed to be, and he's being a professional about it. The rookies, they're still learning, they're still growing, and they just haven't been out there enough to earn that trust yet. But I would say throughout the course of spring and camp so far, those are the four I'd bring up first.
Names you expected to hear, right?
Absolutely.
Yep. Dan, do you have any concern at all whether the new guys, like Luther Burton, can get to that place of being reliable in Ben Johnson's eyes?
No, I don't think you're going to have that situation with him. I think Luther Burden, and while there are some things that a lot of people said, he's got to work on this, he's got to work on that. Is he going to be locked in? Is he going to be focused on and so forth? You got to remember that Ben Johnson is coming from a situation where he had a guy like that in Jamison Williams, right, in Detroit, and you had to kind of get him to lock in. And there were some issues that he had to get over in order to lock in and get time on the football field, right? Let's be real. He's got the talent in Detroit, but there were some things that he had to get over, some hurdles that he had to get over. So the same thing is true, and I believe that Ben Johnson is a guy that will work with Luther Burden, and he can get through to him, right? I like to look at things, and there are certain coaches that can really pull things out of players or connect with a player that may be a little bit of a wild card sometimes, right? And I'm not saying that that's what Luther Burden is, but those were some of the things, right? He's a first-round talent, but he went later on because of some other stuff. Not saying that there were major issues or anything like that, but I'm just saying, there's a work in progress that has to be happening with him, and I think you got the right coaching staff to do that. You got Antoine Randall that's over there on that side of the ball as well, and he'll be able to help him. So I don't think they're going to have an issue with him picking up things and being where he needs to be. I think he said it in an interview or in his press conference where he said, guys need to be where they are. You know what I mean? And he's locked in on that end of it. So that's what you have. You have teams or guys on the team that are buying in to whatever Ben Johnson is saying, whatever the coaching staff is saying. And when they do that, then they'll be more focused, they'll be more active on the football field, and things will go well.
Love it. Love it. What do you think, Tooch?
I guess the Ben Johnson effect, right?
They challenged Luther Burton right off the bat. Ben Johnson, kind of rode him a little bit. He responded with some blazing speed, man, which is what I said after we drafted him. I hope we see the back of his jersey a lot, But they're going to scheme. Ben Johnson will scheme ways to get that kid involved.
Yeah, I think that I may have mentioned this in last week's show that Caleb is easily going to reach that 4,000-yard mark because of guys like Luther Burton. He's going to throw a 5-yard pass to Burton, and Burton's going to get 80 yards.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
And that's an 85-yard pass play that goes on Caleb's stats. He's got the weapons there, and all quarterbacks who've got 4,000, 5,000 yards had guys like that were getting yards after catch. That excites me tremendously that we've got fortified weapons on this.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Loveland get 100 targets. This season.
I mean, the only thing that can stop him, of course, is how much Cole will get, and the fact that there are so many damn weapons. That's the only thing. But we'll see. That's going to be interesting to follow that.
You guys see Keenan? Speaking of wide receivers, Keenan Allen re-signed with the Chargers.
Yep.
So that means that we gave the Chargers a 4th-round draft pick for a 1-year rental of Keenan Allen. Was it worth it? What do you think?
No, I don't think so.
Right.
I think that those resources should have been put towards acquiring an offensive lineman for your rookie quarterback in 2024. But I understand why he did it. But because he overestimated how good the offensive line was going to be, and it couldn't withstand the injuries. He thought he had depth and stuff. I would have liked to have seen that money put towards an offensive line.
Ryan Bates' injury kind of screwed up his plan. Ryan Bates was supposed to be a big part of that offensive line last year. I don't think we saw him play a snap, but maybe one snap. But this year I guess he might be in the mix and backup offensive line.
I think it was a you ideally you want something to pan out if you give up a 4th-round draft pick for somebody, of course. But at the same time, I think it worked out for what it was supposed to, at the time. And I think Keenan Allen was able to provide some little bit of leadership. maybe teach Rome Odunze how to go about preparing for games and things like that.
Exactly.
Those things could happen, on the football field, and it's good to see that happen. That's one of the things that Caleb didn't have, right? And a lot of people talked about that in the offseason where he said, I wasn't, I didn't know how to study film or whatever, you know what I mean, or whatever the case.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, he didn't have a vet quarterback in that locker room to kind of show him the ropes on that, right? And a lot of people blame Shane Waldron and so on and so forth. True enough, it is their fault because they weren't hands-on with him enough. But at the same time, Caleb has gotten over on his talent, right? Didn't have to study film in college. Didn't have to study film that much in high school because I was so much more talented than everybody else. So then when you get to the pros, now you need somebody to kind of help you go through that process. He didn't have it.
Yep.
Rome probably had that with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. I think that probably helped him in his development a little bit. So it is what it is, man. We gave that away. You hate to see a 4th-round draft pick just walk out the door for a 1-year rental, but, hey, it is what it is.
I think you make a really good point.
4th-round pick to move up and pick Ladd McConkey, pretty good player.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. To me, every time Poles betrays his approach, his strategy towards building this team, seems to backfire on him a little bit,
Yeah.
And that was a time there that, in my opinion, it backfired. Hey, Danikin, did you notice anything when Ben Johnson was talking about receivers that he could rely on and so forth? Did you notice anything about the players that he picked from the wide receiver position? Did you notice anything special?
What did you say? I know he picked DJ Moore. He picked Rome Odunze, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the starters. Those are the guys who are there already. They understand what's going on.
Right.
And those are the guys that, you know what I mean, you might have a little bit more trust in because they already know what they need to be doing. You're teaching these other guys like Luther Burden III. You're teaching these guys, even, Zacchaeus, like he said, he's where he's supposed to be and things like that. But he didn't name none of the guys that were still learning. Those guys just have to get on the football field and earn that trust, which is good. That's another good thing from Ben Johnson. Nobody's gifted anything. You don't just get thrust into this and say, hey, you're the guy. No, you got to go out there and earn it. You got to earn your key.
Yep. Great observation. There is one other thing. Dan, you may not know this, but we have a new co-host on the show, Zim Zimmerman. Unfortunately, he's not here live with us tonight because he's traveling to Chicago in the morning. But as a little present to us, he looked at that situation regarding the Bears wide receivers and has noticed that it seems like often a white wide receiver starts to have some problems, despite the fact that they are having a good camp, like, for instance, J.P. Richardson. So Zim, with his musical talents, put this together.
J.P. Richardson stole the day. This happens every year in a way. He's a 2025 edition of a song you already know. Sharp in his roots, hands like glue. Every catch he made, excitement grew. But we know better than this, and I don't have to tell you why. But will he ever see the field? No one really knows. Pick your chin up, kid. Show some grit. Be ready for the show. It's a tale as old as time for the Bears wide receivers. Not good enough to make the league, but too good for the bleachers. Coaches iced them out like polar bears. The fans all disappear. like a few more stops. Take it all the way to the top. Be the polar bears you are. Be a Canadian football star. It's a tale as old as time for the Bears wide receivers. Not good enough to make the league, but too good for the bleachers. Coaches iced them out like polar bears. The fans all disagree. In the end, they cut them. It's a mystery to me. Hey.
That was
Zim
dope. I like that. I like that.
Steven
Polar
Zim
bears.
Exactly.
I like how he weaved Kevin White in there too.
Yeah, that was perfect. Tooch, you helped
great.
Zim with that a little bit, right?
A little bit. I mean, it's all him though. You know, he had the idea and the music and stuff, and just asking me for some input and criticism or critique and suggestions.
Yeah, and some people are mentioning names, white receivers, but they were all playing
Mike
before
Hass
Zim was born. Mike Hass, I don't remember that.
Tom
name.
Waddle. Zim was like, Waddle the broadcaster, you mean? Played football?
Yeah, back when I was a kid, like all the players were white. It wasn't just wide receivers.
Ken Marjoram and
oh my gosh.
That was Glenn Kozlowski and Keith Ortego. Yeah,
what about and before that, a generation or two before that, Johnny Morris. He led the Chicago Bears in pass receiving yards and pass catches. Ditka held pass catching records. It's the game has changed, man. J2K says Make has made an amazing one-handed catch for a touchdown in preseason.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't remember that.
It was fantastic.
Of course.
Yeah. Amazing catch.
Yeah, but I was looking at JP Richardson because there was a lot of talk about him. So when I was at practice last week with Greg, he and I were watching JP, and he's not really ready for prime time. He does make good plays. He can get open, but he's a perfect candidate for the practice squad, and he could potentially develop into a reliable slot receiver in case of an emergency. You know, you bring him in. I suspect that the Bears are going to get the most they can out of DJ in the slot, out of Luther in the slot, Colston Loveland in the slot, and you might even see Rome Odunze in the slot. I love seeing a big wide receiver like Rome Odunze in the slot because you're going to put a linebacker on him because he's so big, and he's just going to outmaneuver a linebacker and get open. Going to be pretty.
Every time. And that's the thing with Ben Johnson with his team, he's going to utilize all those guys in the slot, right? So somebody like JP, you know what I mean? Like I like what he's doing and some of the things that he's able to do out there on the practice field at times, but you know, there's very little room for him to get on the football field, especially when you have so many moving pieces that can go into the slot. Rome, like you said, DJ Moore is a slot merchant at times. Yeah. You know, you got Luther Burden who can play in there, play inside and outside. When these guys are able to play inside and outside, you know, it creates too much chaos for a defense to really kind of understand what's going on, right? So you constantly have matchups that are mismatches, and if you throw JP in there, he's pretty much a slot guy, and that's pretty much all he can do.
Yeah, because he doesn't have the speed. I mean, he ran a 5.3 or a 5.4 at his pro day. So, you know, that's a little tough for an outside receiver, but he's got those moves like a Wes Welker, you know, type of guy to work effectively out of the slot. And hopefully, To me, the only way a guy like that makes the team is if he can excel at special teams, play the gunner position, show that he can tackle, show that he has worth outside of being a backup slot receiver. But we'll be keeping an eye on him. I'm going to be at camp tomorrow, so if you guys want me to keep an eye on someone special, let me know.
Yeah,
I will be
Ben
there.
Johnson called him out. It was like, JP, he was really, and then he has a terrible practice. And Ben Johnson was like,
right.
The minute I call him out,
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, but he also mentioned Olamide Zaccheaus too. That was a guy that was, he was a pretty big part of Washington's offense last year. So
yes, he was.
I like that signing. That's the guy who I think you'll see some slot and some, running some of those, third option, third progression. Third option, the progression, guy. Oh, there he is. You'll see him get open and stuff.
Right.
And then Duvernay looks like he'll be the main kick returner, kick and punt returner, and that's a position that we need to solidify, for a long time. But doing Josh Blackwell, they had that beautiful fake punt last year. I was like, I forget who was running back. He ran back and caught it over his shoulder, and returned it for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Now there was I forgot who the normal punt return a fake that he was catching it. And everyone was on that side.
Mm-hmm.
Blackwell ran over to the other side, and that was a beautiful play.
Outstanding design by Hightower. He really made up for, those field goals that were blocked that I want to say, he had some responsibility on, but nonetheless, Hightower is proving himself to be one of the best special teams coaches. Creative, attention to detail. I was keeping an eye on him when I was at practice last week, and he is sticking his nose in there. And special teams coaches have to be that way. Have to show that recklessness, with the tongue, so that the players go out there and sacrifice their bodies to make a tackle. I mean, even with the new rules, there's still guys running awfully fast, colliding into one another.
Absolutely.
What do we got here from Dobbsy? He says, watch, there'll be a formation with DJ at running back, Rome at Z, Luther at key, and 2 tight ends. You better believe that, Dobbsy.
Yep. Looking forward to that.
Indeed. All right.
We'll see Darnell Wright going out for passes.
He's the best pass catcher of that lot. We know that from the video that was provided. Before we go to the defense, any concerns about the offense, or just a little concerned about, worried about, that you want to talk about before we talk defense?
It's all on Caleb.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all on Caleb. One thing I will say is, the Bears have to stay healthy along the offensive line. We've had, even with, inferior offensive line talent, we've constantly had, musical chairs at offensive line when it comes to injuries, right? So if we can stay healthy, I don't know what they need to do with strength and conditioning, whatever the case may be, get these guys the ability to stay on the football field. And if they do get injured, be able to get back from injury kind of quickly, you know what I mean? And not let it linger. So those are the things, just having some continuity along the offensive line where the same 5 guys are going to line up, week in and week out would be great. That, I think that would bode well for the squad.
Yeah. I made the point in Bears State of Affairs that Caleb Williams might have the most amount of expectations placed on him just because he's a Bears quarterback. And we've had the history with Jay Cutler. Trubisky was a number 2 overall pick. Justin Fields had all this talent, and we end up trading him away for, a 6th round pick, a conditional 6th round pick to the Steelers. And, Caleb Williams, if he doesn't work out, God, that would be a blow to just Bears fans' psyches, we're like, will we ever get a quarterback to work out? And I think, like I said, it's on Caleb, but it's on Ben Johnson too. I gotta throw that in there. But man, it's different with Caleb just because he's a Bears quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed. There's that added pressure. Never had a 4,000-yard passer. And so he feels it because it's always being asked of him, are you going to be the Bears' first 4,000-yard passer and stuff? So that weighs on you, and I worked in the media professionally. And so I know in most cases, you got to ask those stupid questions because it is a topic, but if you if you are a reporter and you think of it from the other person's point of view, maybe it's a good idea not to open up your mouth. Ask them about. There's plenty of great questions that you can ask.
Right.
All right, let's talk defense here. And I want to start by talking about Tyreek Stevenson, because he held a press conference yesterday that I said, this shit is like worthy of an Oscar. So I sat down and put together some of the highlights to a little bit of music. This is Tyreek Stevenson, 1:42 seconds.
That's what we should practice like every day. So we want to let you know we better than you. We want to let you know every time you line it up, we going to rock and roll with you. I told one of the rookies there, I said, I think that's the most we ever like hit while I was being here, but it felt good. We working. We putting money in the bank every day. This league don't know what's coming for him because we put in daily deposits every day. Competition all over the board. Everybody's position is pretty much up for grabs, as they say, because at the end of the day, the best man need to be on the field to make sure that this team wins. Because I've been coming in, putting in daily deposits every day, meeting with the coaches extra, coming in early, doing anything I have to do to prove to this team and to these coaches that I'm the guy for the other side. That's really the message that is getting portrayed to me. Just learning how to be a pro, how to go about your business every day, and pretty much controlling my personality. Sometimes you got to tone it down, sometimes you got to let it explode, but at other times it has to be at the right level, and that's what I got to learn to do to be a part of this team. Every year is a big year because, this is a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity to come and play in the NFL, and every down counts. So every year is a big year, every down is big to me. I'm on an island, cover 3, if certain formations show, I'm on an island. Cover 4, certain formations show, I'm on an island. Then we got man all across the board. So with him just calling it the way he does, he puts the corner in the job. Put the corner in the way to make their money. My confidence through the roof. I don't think none could chip away at it because it's me. At the end of the day, if I did something wrong and got beat, that's me. I did something wrong. You ain't better than me. So I feel like my confidence is definitely through the roof. I drive myself every day. I'm my family. I'm the only son. I'm the big brother. So my life pretty much drives me every day. I don't use anything external to drive me because at the end of the day, that can die out. So my life, my story drives me every day.
That was legitness. Yeah, boy.
I fell in love with that guy all over again. Yep. He said it the way I want all Bears players to say it, talking about self-responsibility, talking about, accounting for mistakes, like the big one that he made last year. It talked about, his mentality of being out on the island and beating the guy across from him. I loved hearing that press conference. What do you think, Dan?
Man, I loved it too, man. One of the things that stood out to me was he said in there, I don't know what the part it was, maybe halfway through of that edit that he said, toning down my personality sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. Letting it explode in certain situations, but toning it down and controlling it. That's what, coaches teach that, man. Harnessing energy, right? Yeah. Nervous energy, whatever the kind of energy you have, you can harness that energy and then unleash it in the right way. Yeah. And that's what it seems like he's kind of focusing on doing. He's, talks about making deposits, man, every day making deposits. That's what you want out of your football players. So, just him having that mindset is different, becoming a professional, becoming, locked in, you know what I mean? So on and so forth. My man Tony down there said Al Harris is doing his job, no doubt, So those are the things that really, really speak to not only the fan base, but it also speaks to the locker room, to the coaches. When you see a guy putting in that effort, that's what he's doing. I like it.
Cliff says he'll give him a second chance, but he had not better do something stupid in the future. Yeah, you don't get a second mistake at that, and I think he's learned his lesson. It was dumb, but it also like Dan is talking about, it also is about the coaching staff.
Yeah,
if you go back to that stupid play against Washington, even the play before, he was not in his head. So that's why I kind of blame Hightower a little bit, because he should be looking at his guys to make sure they're in the right spot. And, anything he can yell at them and so forth. But the head coach, too, everybody in the sideline had a role to play in helping this young kid who they know loves to talk smack, because that makes him a better player. Some guys thrive off of that. I get it. The few good years I had at playing basketball, I hit a long jumper. I'm like, yeah, fuck you, because it made me play better. But I'm also a bit of an asshole too. So
last 30 seconds of that game was the end of Matt Eberflus.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that broke the locker room. You know, there
Yeah.
were so many players that were pissed off that they didn't call timeout. They didn't get in position. They let them have a free 14-yard out the play before, you know, that put them in position for Jaden Daniels to make the throw, you know, and then, you know, they pretty much mutinied after that. You know, they no more Eberflus. Everything he said did not ring true with any of the players. All sounded like bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, that was it.
And then to try to hold him accountable, you know what I mean? You come out in the media the following week and you know, based on, you know, of course the fans' expectations, and they were up in arms and they were pissed off at him. But the fans don't understand. Dude, you got an eye in the sky. You got guys up in the booth. You got everybody on the sideline. You got coaches all up and down the sideline. Somebody should have seen Tyreek Stevenson not paying attention. Like you said, the play before even, right? So when your coaching staff is not locked in, how the hell do you expect your players to be locked in?
The Bears fans in Washington were like, turn around, bro.
Yeah.
You know, in the end zone, the Bears fans who had tickets to the game in D.C.
But you're absolutely right, Dan and Tooch. You got to set the culture with the coaching staff, you know, and when players are not coached hard, when they are allowed to make mistakes and, you know, the coach doesn't take accountability for all the things that you guys just said, it's a train wreck. And credit to Ryan Poles, and I think Kevin Warren had a lot to do with this, because Kevin Warren, I think, has got his balls are a little brassier than Ryan. Ryan is a very empathetic person. You know, he cuts a guy and he's crying and so forth. And I don't have a problem with that, but you have to have an Ian Cunningham or a Kevin Warren around to say, hey, got to fire that fucking guy because he's lost whatever it is. You know, you got to make the tough decisions. And that's, you know, hey, I hate to do that, but I've been in business before. You know, my bosses were hard on me, and the people that I worked on, I had to be hard on them. That's just the way it goes. And in football, you multiply that. You have to multiply that in order to get success.
The last two Bears head coaches had like signature fail plays, you know, they even have nicknames, the double doink for Matt Nagy,
gosh,
and then the fail Mary for Matt Eberflus.
Matt Eberflus had several. I mean, that situation in Detroit, I was at that game, bro, and I'm sitting there looking at it, and I'm like, call a timeout. Somebody call a freaking timeout. And, you know, and I'm looking at it like, why are they not calling the timeout? Why does everybody understand the situation and the magnitude of what's going on except the people involved? It didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Ben Johnson's a rookie. He's going to make mistakes, but I just don't see him having one of those signature fail plays. You know, he's just so well prepared. He's just so smart. I think he'll have his ship in order. The other coaches, I never liked Matt Nagy. I wanted him gone after year one, and I never liked Matt Eberflus. Wanted him gone after year one. You know, Matt Nagy. Maybe it was a year two. I wanted him gone, and Eberflus after year one. But I didn't like either of the coaches. I didn't think they were good head coaches. You know, I didn't see him ever winning a Super Bowl. With Ben Johnson, I could see him taking us all the way.
Yeah.
I could, you know, with John Fox, I appreciate the facts that he helped to fix the culture, you know, but at the same time, I just felt like he was over the hill at that point. I was never super impressed with him at his previous jobs. I know he had some success and stuff, but I just felt like his was the kind of voice that me as a player, I'm going to tune out after a few weeks, you know. And that to me is important, is what you say, how you sound, how you look when you sound. You know, you got a head coach up there who's doing this. No, you got to stand there, be in control, show authority and so forth. And now we finally got one in Ben Johnson. I'm really hopeful.
That's kind of what we needed after Mark Trestman, though, you know. We needed something a little more down to earth rather than outer space. Trestman. You know, we've got
no business
down to earth.
I'm just glad the Bears finally went the right direction. Like, I've always thought that the Bears with their coaching hires have gone the cheap route, right?
Yeah.
And they've always got the second, third guy that's on that totem pole. This time they went to the top and they got the big fruit, right? They got the ripe, nice apple, right? And said, let's pluck this one. we're not going to get anything besides the best this time around. And I think that's going to work for them because, like I said, Trestman, he had no business. He had no business being in the NFL. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest, Nothing against the guy personally, but he just had no business being a head coach in the NFL.
Yeah, that offense's first year was pretty damn good, but the defense fell off a cliff. It's like
giving up 50 burgers.
Yeah, we had Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall and Matt Forte. It's like, was it tight end? Was it Martellus Bennett?
Yeah,
Martellus Bennett.
Yeah, I mean,
with that much talent, though, it's hard to not be successful.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So I don't say Trestman is a guru or a genius. You know what I mean?
Right.
Offensively.
But I will say this for Trestman. I read his book called Perseverance because when he got hired, I wanted to learn more about him, and I heard that he had written this book, and he details his coaching career in the NFL. I mean, I don't think he ever lasted in a job more than 2 years, and it wasn't because of him. He just got hired into bad situations, and it's one of the things that he talks about in his book is one of the things that you should never do as a GM or an owner is to bring in a head coach and leave staff members from the previous regime in. He goes, there's going to be constant, fighting and untrustworthy. You don't know if they're talking about you behind your back and so forth. And that's not what happened to him here in Chicago. What happened to him here is he clearly could not command the locker room, especially the defense, because those players were still in love with Lovie Smith. Mm-hmm. And they bring in this professorial type guy who wants to hang out with the offense all the time. And Lance Briggs is saying, hey, I need some time off to open up my barbecue restaurant in San Francisco. And Trestman's trying to win favor with the defense, and he lets him go, but it was the dumbest decision he could have done. Ben Johnson would not have said that. I don't think so. I don't think he would have let anybody miss camp, especially early on like that. But nonetheless, let's look forward. This defense, I want, Dan, your thoughts on Dennis Allen, the new defensive coordinator.
I think Dennis Allen is once again, we got a guy in here who's well deserving of some of the accolades that he has, right? He's done it. He's been this guy. He's been had top defenses. He knows how to coach guys. He commands the locker room as well, on the defensive side of the ball. I think he's it's a really good hire. That was one of my favorite hires from him, from Ben Johnson, when he was putting together his staff. You could see a guy, and this is the difference that we see between, other coaches that the Bears have had in the past, where, you got guys like Nagy or you got guys like Eberflus, and they kind of hired these other guys and they didn't really want, just yes men that were, kind of all in. But Dennis Allen, he's done this. He's done this on a high level for a long period of time. So when you surround yourself with guys who know what they're doing, then you become the genius, right? Geniuses are they align themselves, or they surround themselves with a bunch of talented, smart individuals that know their stuff on their side of the ball, so on and so forth. So he doesn't have to worry about it as much, right? Now, of course, he oversees some things and things like that, but at the same time, he knows that Dennis Allen is going to come. He's going to be prepared. He's going to do his due diligence, so on and so forth. And I think it's gonna look good in the Chicago Bears defensive team.
Tooch, you feel the same way about Dennis Allen? Well, what specifically do you like about him?
Well, I love the hire because it allows Ben Johnson to kind of forget about the defense and allow Dennis Allen just to handle everything. When you have that kind of experience, I mean, he was a head coach in the NFL, well-respected defensive coordinator. It's Ben Johnson does not have to worry about that side of the ball. And with Dennis Allen's defenses, when he was at New Orleans, you're kind of like, they didn't win a lot of games. And you go back and look, and his defense was like top 10 in the Saints. But we had Tyreek Stevenson in that thing, and he's like the perfect man corner for Dennis Allen's defense. If you were to draw up a cornerback that Dennis Allen likes, it would be a guy like Tyreek Stevenson. So I'm anxious to see how he does here. He played a lot of man at Miami and then came to Eberflus and played a lot of zone. So Eberflus played man at a very low, like 28th or 25th rate in the NFL. So when they're gonna rush with their front four and play man behind that, and we'll see where we go from there. The defensive ends, we spent a lot of money. We've got about $40 million invested in Montez and Deo. And between those guys last season, I think they had about 8 or 9 sacks, So, I mean, we'd like to get some sack production. I think it'll be there because Grady Jarrett's going to disrupt in the middle. You still have Andrew Billings, who, in spite of, the position he plays and size, he was pretty disruptive.
Oh, yeah.
Really like that player, see how he comes back from injury. And then I still would like to see him sign, like Zadarius Smith, who has the Detroit connection there, just to get some juice in the pass rush, sort of protect against injury as well. They had that Tano Passignon, who looked like he would be a decent part of the end rotation. Now he's injured. So maybe signing another defensive end is still in the cards. Like Greg Gabriel said, we're never going to sign Micah Parsons.
No, it's not going to happen.
Was great to dream about, though. If Ryan Poles pulls Ryan Pace and signs Parsons like a Khalil Mack, that would be exciting.
Yeah, and Parsons could end up having a greater career than Khalil Mack, but it is too risky to invest that much money and upset the apple cart, the financial apple cart of this team. Be a little patient, Yes, we want to go to the Super Bowl this year, but it's more likely it'll be year 2 or year 3 of the Ben Johnson's regime where we can seriously compete for a Super Bowl. We have to build this team the way Poles originated the plan, which is through the draft and make some key free agent acquisitions, but also respecting the cap. Hey, you guys were talking about the defensive end pass performance, and I totally agree. It's such an important part of making sure Dennis Allen's defense works. And this is Dio, and I still have to phonetically write his name out, Odangbo, for me to get it. But this was him at a press conference talking about how comfortable he is under Dennis Allen.
Where you feel like it is a good fit for you?
Yeah, I mean, all over the place, just playing tighter to the tackles and being able to set the edge from that point, and a lot of the stunts and movements and letting that shine. So,
is there something about this system that you feel is going to accentuate your game better than where you've been?
Yeah, like I said, a lot of the movements and simulated pressures, bringing 5, 6, being able to affect the quarterback in that way and have the D-line moving around, it's definitely going to help.
What's it like for you playing for Dennis Allen?
It's fun, he's intense. He's an intense guy, and I enjoy that. I enjoy playing, having him as a coordinator and playing in his defense.
Looks a little bit like the guy from A Different World, Dwayne. Doesn't he look a little like him? Anyway, I have high expectations for this guy. I know that, the sack numbers and stats at Indianapolis didn't look good, but I think the different scenery, the different type of defense, the fact that, there were some injury issues that hampered the start of his career. I have high expectations. I would not at all be surprised if between him and Montez, they total 20 sacks. Montez perhaps getting 12 and Deo getting 8, something like that. What do you think, Dan? Is that realistic?
Yeah, that's definitely realistic. It's definitely something that can be done. I think Montez Sweat has a bounce back year, right? It's hard to go out there and when you don't have a solid player on the other side, you don't have to have a star, right? But when you're rushing the quarterback, you like to have somebody on the other side that can be a threat at times, right? And that's what Deo can bring to the table. I think he's going to be able to be a threat, be somebody out there that can, get to the quarterback if Montez Sweat gets double teamed and so on and so forth. So yeah, I see them being able to combine, get 20, 22, 23 sacks. I wouldn't be surprised about that at all. Not at all.
Tooch, what do you think? 20 sacks between Sweat and Deo. Vizzo says he's sorry, but he doesn't have a lot of confidence in Deo. What are your thoughts?
Super Bowl if they get 20 sacks, man. Woo!
This is show positivity tonight, Bizzle. Bring the positive energy.
Yeah, it'd be if they reach double-digit sacks, man, I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah. I mean, I really do believe that the key to a pass rush in today's NFL is the pressure up the middle. And to me, Gervon Dexter is scratching the surface to become a superstar in this league. And Grady Jarrett is only going to make him better because of all of the experience he has against guys that Gervon Dexter is going to line up with. He's going to help him. Try this, do that. And then his intensity, the way he plays, he's going to have everybody on that defensive line. Everybody, he being Grady Jarrett, he's going to have everybody fired up. And they're going to be playing like Otis Wilson used to say about the Bears, junkyard dogs. That's how this defensive line could potentially be, particularly since that's kind of a mantra Dennis Allen has. It's a privilege to play on this defense. He's instilling that mentality. You heard Tyreek Stevenson. You think that Tyreek Stevenson didn't have that Dennis Allen talk in his mind when he met with the presser, met at that presser yesterday? Of course he did. This is a time to be really fucking excited about what's happening with the Chicago Bears, man.
Yep. I agree 100% with that.
And I hate these motherfuckers who are just picking on, national media. They're just picking on, Caleb missed every throw to the Nets, they just pick one thing or two things out of a practice or out of a press conference and they try to cast. And usually I don't get on the media because I used to work with the media. I understand their thinking on certain stuff, but lately I have been so fucking pissed off because there's much more good news coming out of camp right now than there is bad news. And I think I'm making a really good point. Don't you think, Tooch? I'm queuing.
The Father speaks, brings a man to his knees, barroom bliss. Because although things no need to fake it, he already made it. He's the man with the plan, but to you, he's the Pod Father, Part 2.
As
I was waiting to drop that.
Zim Zimmerman video, and so I'm thinking to myself, this would be a good time for you to fucking drop that video, man, because I'm running out of bullshit to say. Look at Mr. Shorty. Although you and I keep exchanging $5, fuck that. This is a $10 bill from Mr. Shorty. You got, hey, Dan, I don't know if you've seen Bears Country Productions, but they're doing some great shit over there on their YouTube channel.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, they, Mr. Shorty, PJ, Foster Covers. Yeah. And
there he is.
That's
Mr. Shorty.
That's Mr. Shorty now. He's our sponsor. He wants us to buy all this drippy dick shit that he came up with. But I'm not there yet. My dick is fine. All right, fellas, where are we? We're at about the 90-minute mark. What else? Any other thoughts about the Chicago Bears before we talk about Denzel and pop culture?
Let me see. Let me check my notes just real quick here.
What do you got, Dan? I know you got something. Which defensive player or position concerns you the most about the Bears defense?
Condition. Oh, man. One thing that I will say about the Bears defense is that they're locked in. Like I believe that they have talent all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek Stevenson, the cornerbacks are nice, the safeties are nice. You got a lot of people that were complaining about the safeties, but Jaquan Brisker's back. He was, he had a decent practice the other day as well. He loves the physicality and being able to hit, of course, right? Mm-hmm. Hopefully he stays healthy with the concussion situations, but that's my only concern with him. And of course, the defensive line is much improved, right? And I believe that they're going to have a bounce back year. Montez Sweat's going to lead that bunch when it comes to that. I think we have good linebacker play. A lot of people are still upset about Roquan being gone, but that linebacker, the core of that linebacker, position to me is really good. You got both of those linebackers that we picked up when we got rid of Roquan are very good players in my opinion.
Yep.
So I think they got talent all the way across the board defensively, and I think they're going to shine. I think that it's gonna help. And when the offense kind of gets up to speed, it's going to give the defense more ability to put pressure on people. Right? They couldn't do certain things last year, the year before, because you were always at a situation where we had to play perfect. Now you can take some chances because probably this offense is going to be able to put more than 17 points on the board, right, and win us the game. So now you're going to be able to put some more pressure. You're going to be able to take some more chances, maybe intercept some more balls, things like that you weren't able to do because you were trying to play perfect and keep people in front of you and prevent them from scoring.
Yep. Hey, Tooch, before you go, I just want to say, Dan brought up Tremaine Johnson, the linebackers. I think this is going to be a really special year for Tremaine Edmonds, and that we could potentially be seeing talk when we're talking about comeback player of the year awards and so forth. He might not be a prime candidate because he didn't have a terrible 2024, and there are other people who are coming back from injury and so forth. But to me, I think that he is going to play at such a high level that there's going to be some type of recognition, whether it's a Pro Bowl position or comeback player, whatever it is. Tremaine Edmonds, watch him. I think Dennis Allen knows how to use him effectively, and the way he's firing people up to play on this defense, Tooch, I think he is going to play at a very high level. Your thoughts?
He better. Ruben Hippo's going to take his job.
Hippo is the fastest linebacker I've ever seen.
That kid, I'm telling you, man, that kid might be. We might be talking about him in a year or two. Just like, man, what a great draft pick. This guy's flying around out there at the linebacker position. And for a while, TJ Edwards kind of outplayed Tremaine Edmonds as far as value in their contracts. Edwards we got pretty cheap, and Tremaine Edmonds we paid a good amount to. And for the most part, maybe you'd say he hasn't lived up to the contract. But I hope so, man. I'm waiting for this kid. He's got a lot of physical ability. It's just maybe the reaction time has been a little slow out there, the recognition and stuff, and maybe he just needed the right coaching.
Dude, just use for interrupting. My only issue with him is that sometimes he gets lost in blocks, and it really was something that I saw with Brian Urlacher a lot too, The best way to defeat Brian Urlacher was run straight at him.
Yep.
And Urlacher was great sideline to sideline and great playing that middle safety position, but Jerome Bettis knocked him on his ass, and that's not the only example of him having trouble against run games that were power run games. He just didn't have that stoutness. But and Tremaine Edmonds, I won't say that he doesn't have the stoutness, but I will say he just has trouble disengaging from blocks and making a run play. And a lot of big explosive run plays for the opposition, I see him taking a step to the right and the ball is going to the left. And, that's what he needs to control, in my opinion. I'm not an expert by any means on this, but that's how I feel.
Speaking of contracts, this guy's playing for a contract, Aldo.
Yes, sir.
Man, this is a guy who could really have a big season playing for that new contract. As long as all he's got to do is stay healthy, Dan.
That's it, man. If he stays healthy, he's a good safety out there. He's a really good player. If he stays healthy, I'm all for it. I think he'll shine. I think he'll be really good. I think he brings a lot to the table. He's always engaged. He's fully engaged. He's positive, and so on and so forth. Fired up all the time. He's ready to go. You know what I mean? You like to see that on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, he was taunting Ben Johnson in practice.
Exactly. Yeah, he was.
No, I love his attitude. Clearly he feels like he has something to prove. He's not happy with the fact that he's had these injuries and the concussion issues. And I heard from a reliable source that he was ready to go. 2 or 3 games left in the season. He was ready to go, but the Bears didn't want to, risk him and so forth. And he was not happy about that because he knows he's losing opportunity for that big contract.
Mhm.
And with safeties, it's hard to get a big contract.
Yep.
And, a lot of safeties end up working on 1-year contracts, and that's where he's headed unless he's able to play 17 games this season and play them at a high level. And he is more than capable of playing that safety position as a hard hitter, a ball hawk. He's got all of those skills.
Yep.
But I do hold my breath sometimes when I see him make a tackle, Dan.
Man, he goes head first, man. I mean, he puts his body on the line literally, and we've seen it, not go well. You can only give out so much punishment before you start taking some back too. So hopefully he's able to stay healthy. I think he's going to be a real good asset to this team, though. He's going to bring a lot to that backfield. Defensive backfield.
Week 5, I think he took that. He tried to make a tackle on the Panthers tight end Tommy Tremble.
Yeah, and he knocked Tommy Tremble down.
Both of them went out.
Yeah, both of them went out though. Yeah,
and I don't think Brisker played again after that week 5. Right?
He did not.
Yeah.
He did not. And I when I saw the hit, I immediately got worried because, like I said earlier, I'm always a little bit worried, when he is tackling with his head because of previous injuries. But then it was Tremble that left the game, and Jaquan continued to play. Then I saw an interview with Brisker and Herb Howard after the game, and to me, I was like still wondering, is he okay? Is he okay? And then boom, it was the next day that it was reported that he was having trouble sleeping. He called the Bears and says, hey, something ain't right. I should be checked for a concussion, which is great that he did that.
Yeah.
I'm just worried about it. Dan, you're right. He's got to learn how to tackle and not use that helmet all the time.
Yep. Yeah. If I'm looking at my notes, the other thing I had was ESPN acquired NFL Red Zone. I don't know if you saw this little bit here. I love Red Zone, man. On Sundays, man. It's like I've got split screen. I've got the Bears or whatever other game going, and Red Zone and the other split screen, and I'm watching. Just
because you're a big time fantasy guy, too,
fantasy football,
really
or sports betting, or fantasy football.
Yeah,
I'm watching Red Zone. I just hope ESPN or Disney, whatever, they don't ruin it. I don't want to see like Pat McAfee or Stephen A. Smith there. I just want pure football. Right?
I hear you. What do you think about that, Dan? I saw your reaction when Tooch brought it up.
I think it's funny. I like Red Zone the way it was. I'm not really too enthusiastic about it moving over to ESPN. I think that they can do more damage to it than good. It's a wonderful product right now, and it's like, man, leave it alone. I like Chris Hansen. I like what he does. I like all of that. And
commercial free too, man.
Commercial free.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna go over there to ESPN. They're gonna have people in there trying to tell jokes and all kinds of weird stuff. I mean, hey, it's good for what it is at some point, you know what I mean? ESPN is. But I don't want to see it on Red Zone. I just don't.
Yeah, Vizzo is right. I heard they may have Red Zone for college games too.
Oh, nice.
And here's the thing, from what I understood.
Maybe that's why they purchased it,
That might be good.
Yeah. Yes, because they now have the branding. ESPN now has the Red Zone branding that they can apply to everything, like WNBA if they wanted to, what have you. But here's what I heard that gives me hope that this could work out is the word from Andrew Marchand, who writes about sports media for The Athletic. He said ESPN is going to be hands off. In fact, the show isn't going to move to an ESPN channel. It's going to remain on its own entity, NFL Red Zone, and that Chris Hansen is returning, and they're not going to touch it this year. Now, what happens next year? They're probably going to touch it, but because it's so close to the season, they're not going to mess around with it. It's going to go on as is. So we, at least for the 2025 season, will have Red Zone the way it is. And hopefully they don't fuck it up like is the fear of all of ours. Anything else in your notes there, Tooch?
Nope, that was it. Just want to know what you guys thought about the acquisition. I think the NFL received some intellectual property from ESPN in return. Yep. So we'll have to see what that's all about too.
Well, here's an issue that I'd love to get your comments on regarding ESPN and the NFL is there is concern by some people, particularly journalists, sports journalists, that now since ESPN and the NFL are working together, they're owned by each other, is the investigative reporting that ESPN has done in the past going to be at risk? And they are essentially going to be company people, and whenever there's an issue with the players union, injuries, what have you, are they going to hide that because ESPN doesn't want to upset their overlords, the NFL? What do you guys think?
Point, man.
Yeah.
See, that's where the Podfather drop needed to be.
That's right. You can play more than once. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Fuck you.
I love it when she talks dirty to me. I love it. So, Dan, any thoughts about that whole potential conflict of interest that might go on with the NFL and ESPN?
Absolutely, man. Like there's always that's in the background, right? It's always something that can be said about that. Whenever you have, like you said, the overlord of it, hey, don't say nothing bad about us. Don't do this. Don't expose this. Don't do that. Yeah. Those things happen, man. That really happens in real time. Now, to what extent, we don't know. Is there going to be some integrity when it comes to ESPN and their journalism? Hope so. We hope so. Because there are certain things that need to have a light shined on it, right? Especially with the NFL, NBA, whatever the case may be. All of those entities, they try to cover up some things and things that don't, that they don't want to be heard or seen. And we'll see how that goes, man. But it's definitely a concern, I think, especially when you have we've seen cover-ups before, like Washington, the Commanders situation. John Gruden was a dirtbag, right? And he did whatever he did that was wrong, in my opinion. And he sent some emails that were crazy, but he wasn't the only one. But everything else got swept under the rug. So there's some more dirt that's out there, and they just covered that up. So when you have situations like that, then you have this type of thing. It's only we're only right to think, hey man, is there going to be any integrity in this situation?
I'm here with you guys on that. I'm concerned about it too, but I do know a lot of fans who aren't worried about it because all they care about are the games. I don't need sports channel. I don't want to know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't want to know about this guy or that guy. I don't want to know. I just want the theater, the dramaticness of the game. I want to study the X's and O's and stuff. So there could be a lot of people who won't even think about stuff like that. But I, for one, it's good to hear that Tooch and Dan are as well, are going to, care about that because journalism and the media, the news media, has to police the people in power. And right now, Roger Goodell and the NFL are very, very powerful entities. And you need somebody to keep an eye on them to make sure they're not, fucking with players and fucking with fans in some devious way for profit. All right, it is time to switch gears here. I wanted to talk about Denzel Washington because I read that he and Spike Lee are coming out with a movie called Highest to Low. And Tooch, I know you're a cinema buff. This is actually a update of a 1963 Akira Kurosawa movie. He's a very famous Japanese director. That the
Seven Samurai.
Exactly. That's his most famous movie. But this movie that they're redoing is I forgot what the name of it, the original Kurosawa movie was, but I saw it about a year ago and I was fucking amazed by the way he composed shots. Like the story is about a kidnapping where the kidnappers kidnapped the wrong kid. And so that's then the problem for the person who has to pay the ransom. He doesn't have the money. like the rich guy's kid's father did. And so it's kind of a misplaced thing. Very interesting movie, and the way Kurosawa staged it was fantastic. So I heard that Denzel said this is going to be one of my final movies because I'm going to start making movies, far and fewer in between. And so I started thinking, maybe we should pay tribute to Denzel because the guy has been in a lot of fucking great movies, and he has been acclaimed. 57 movies he's been in as an actor. He's directed a number of them. Been nominated for 10 Oscars, including winning a supporting actor award for Glory, which is a fantastic movie with great young talent at the time. And then, of course, Training Day. One of my all-time favorite movies. Denzel's performance there is so incredible, but he's been in so many others. Crimson Tide, which Quentin Tarantino wrote some of the script to, Pelican Brief, on and on. This guy has made so movies. And when I was looking into, doing a little research, all those movies that he made, I realized I probably have not seen half of his movies. But of the ones that I have seen and you guys have seen, I wanted to hear what are your favorite Denzel movies. Let's start with our guest, Dan. What do you got?
Man, this is a tough situation to bring and give clarity on. Right? You know what I mean? Because his work is so expansive, and it's not just. You got some guys that put out a movie and it's like, oh, that was a dud. You know what I mean? That was a terrible movie. Like, why did you make that movie? You can't look at really any of his movies and think that, right? Most of his movies, American Gangster, Man on Fire, you know what I mean? Flight. All these movies are just awesome movies. They're just awesome movies. Great acting. It's just he's one of the best. If not the best actor that I've ever seen in my life, right? And he resonates with so many people because he has an air of confidence. He brings that across on the cinematic screen, right? And you see that it's a different type of actor. You know what I mean? He can play a funny role. He can play a serious role. He can be, serious. He can be down to earth. All these different things that he does. One of my favorite movies, though, and I wanted to choose something like Training Day, but I know a lot of people are going to say that. A lot of people are going to say, Remember the Titans. That's my favorite all-time favorite football movie, right?
So inspiring.
Yeah, very good movie. But one movie that I really liked from him was The Bone Collector. The Bone Collector, where he was paralyzed and he was leading this investigation. You know what I mean? Into criminal activity.
Angelina Jolie
was in it. Yeah, absolutely. One of my, I love. Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Always.
But yeah, man. I mean, that's one of my favorite movies from him. And I went with that one because I don't think it gets enough acclaim. You might say it's well known, no doubt, but I don't think it gets enough acclaim. I mean, that the acting in that. From everything to being paralyzed to, I mean, he didn't move the whole movie. He was in the bed. Yeah. You know what I mean? Having seizures and stuff. And I mean, it was just, it's an example of who he is as an actor. He can take on so many different roles. And of course, Training Day, man. That's one of my favorites too, man. Training Day was
Training Day was awesome. Great in that. Awesome. Ethan Hawke and Denzel.
Yeah. Yep. Both, great acting combination. They really melded great. And Antoine Fuqua, the director, he's just a master at action movies and stuff. Yep. Those are great choices. What do you got, Tooch?
Well, of course, I'm going to say Remember the Titans because I love sports movies, and I always talk about the sports movie. I just watched The Last Rodeo, and I consider that a sports movie. And then we watched Happy Gilmore 2, another sports movie, and Remember the Titans is one of my favorite sports movie. It's up there for me with Friday Night Lights and Bull Durham, just for entertainment value. And then, of course, Training Day just for the acting and the story. And the character, the drawing of the characters were so fleshed out, man. It was great. And then I'm going to go with a little off the beaten path movie of his called The Book of Eli, which I really enjoyed. Man, I love those post-apocalyptic science fiction movies. And I love the story of it. He's got this special book that everyone's trying to get a hold of. I don't want to ruin the ending, the twist at the end of what the book was and where it was, because it's really great, man. Yeah. And you've got Gary Oldman, who I'll watch in any movie, love him.
Mm-hmm.
And Denzel is like, he's a badass in this movie,
Yeah.
There's some great scenes, the fighting scenes with Denzel. So those are my three.
I'll tell you, man. Like Dan, this was a hard assignment. As I'm looking through the 60 movies she's been in or whatever it was, I'm like, holy cow, there's some great movies here, great performances. And some of these I have not really seen yet. So I feel like I'm lucky. I'm going to see some Denzel Washington movies that got good reviews, but just escaped me. But I wanted to share a couple of thoughts about Denzel is that outside of St. Elsewhere, the NBC TV hospital show where he started to gain some fame. Outside of that, the first time I saw him in a movie theater was a movie called The Mighty Quinn. Have you guys ever seen that? Where he plays a law enforcement person in Jamaica, he's got this Jamaican accent throughout the entire movie. And I'm thinking, I didn't know that was a guy from St. Elsewhere. And I'm thinking to myself, this guy's pretty good. As the movie's going on, this guy's a pretty good actor. And so then all of a sudden, more movies coming out with Denzel Washington. I'm like, holy shit, that's the guy from St. Elsewhere. And he's good. There was a little-known movie called Ricochet where he is dealing with a demented serial killer. And there is this fantastic closing scene where he, how Denzel can talk, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, he can convince you to do anything. But there's this one scene where he takes off his shirt. He's built and rock solid. It takes place at the carnival. I haven't seen the movie in 20, 30 years. And so, but I got this memory of him just commanding the fucking screen. Mm-hmm. And the serial killer doing whatever the fuck this guy was telling him. That's another good one, King Booker Roll, Devil in a Blue Dress.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that,
I love the Equalizer ones too. There's 3 of them, man. Even the third one was fantastic too. Oh man,
check those out. Yeah, Aldo, check those out.
Yeah, really I wanted to add, Equalizer 3 takes place in Italy, man. It's a great scenery and stuff. Yeah.
So what's the premise? Is he like a trained assassin or something like that?
He's like a retired CIA.
Okay.
Heavy.
But he starts taking things into his own hands.
Righting wrongs.
When people are, like when people are dealt injustices, then it kind of rubs him the wrong way, and he kind of like takes some things into his own hands.
Yeah, he's like retired from the bureau or the agency or whatever, and he's like just working normal jobs. He gets pissed off at things and rights, like Dan said, rights the wrongs.
Yep.
I gotta check that out.
Trouble follows him wherever he goes.
Yeah.
So people are bringing up other Denzel movies. Have you guys ever seen Fallen, where he plays the airplane pilot who's an alcoholic? Holy shit!
John Goodman, I think, is in there too, right?
Is it John Goodman?
John Goodman and Denzel.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But
I think I used that meme. I think it was a clip from that video, a clip from that movie where he was at the table where he was testifying. Yeah. He said, "I'm drunk right now."
I can relate to that.
I like that gif where he grabs his heart and he's like, that's a classic.
But that's the mark of a great movie, where in those scenes where you're hoping he's not going to get drunk that night and he's looking at the bottle and so forth, and you're just emotionally invested. I remember seeing that in the theater and just moving around in my seat. And I consider myself a film student. I want to see what the camera is, the lighting and shit. No, fuck that. I'm into the story, and it's because of his great acting. And of course, working with a great director. I think that was the guy that did the Back to the Future movies. Bob Zemeckis was his director of Fallen, but great fucking movie. Crimson Tide is another movie. Yep. That confrontation with him and Gene Hackman, they have multiple ones. Talking about actor versus actor, that was fucking phenomenal, man. Yep. And Quentin Tarantino wrote they wanted him to touch up the script, and when you watch Crimson Tide, you can tell everything that Tarantino wrote, when he's talking about superheroes, you gotta do it's like be a superhero, using all these pop culture analogies. Great stuff. Let's see, somebody mentioned them. Oh, Malcolm X could be I
One of the
mean,
greatest too.
he should have won Best Actor.
Yeah,
I don't know who
should've.
he was up against, but Malcolm X, that movie was phenomenal. And I'll never forget that scene where he is walking outside of a campus and a white woman comes up to him, to the character Malcolm X, played by Denzel, and says, "I'm really for you," and blah blah blah, and he just shuts her down and says, "Get the fuck out of here," and stuff. and you know, he was so convinced, Malcolm X, the person, was so convinced that white people were evil that he you know, brushed aside somebody who was showing empathy. And then by the end of the movie, the big transformation, of course, is that he starts to realize that Islam is about love and faith and not what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was preaching, which was about hate against the white man. Great fucking movie. It should be considered one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion.
Real good movie.
Classic. Yeah.
Definitely.
Anything else regarding pop culture that you guys want to share? I'll go with Tooch first, and Dan, if you want to think about maybe, you know, music or a book or whatever that you want to share with us. But Tooch always comes prepared with a couple of things. You got anything, Tooch?
Yeah, I saw a couple of movies that I thought were pretty good. I'll start with the first one because the second movie I saw was a controversial movie for various reasons. But the first movie I saw was called William Tell. It's like kind of like a Braveheart light. You know, the story of William Tell shoots the apple off of his kid's head. You know, it's like a rebellion. The cantons of Switzerland, you know, in the Alps, are rebelling against the Austrian king, and William Tell gets caught in the middle of it. So it's a lot like Braveheart. It's that kind of movie, but I mean, definitely not as good as Braveheart. But I mean, it was pretty good. You know, decent cast with some villains that are chewing up the scenery. And you know, some great shots of the Swiss Alps. So enjoyed that. You know, you have crossbows and sword fighting and stuff like that, and some tense scenes and stuff. A lot of you know, some gory, you know, killings. It's medieval killings and stuff. But that was all right. The other movie, I think you'll enjoy it. It's on Hulu or Disney. One of them. They're kind of like owned by the same thing now. But I thought it was pretty good. And then the other movie I saw was called Rust. Do you know this movie, Aldo?
I know I've seen it. Remind me what it is.
It's a Western, and it's actually a pretty damn good Western. And anyways, there was an accident on the set. The director was killed. The cinematographer's killed, and the director was shot. Something
is
like
that.
Alec Baldwin stood trial for it and was acquitted.
How I know about it. I haven't seen it or anything.
Oh, wow.
Right. So I thought it was like, you know, this is an Alec Baldwin, like, low budget movie, but it's actually really good.
He almost went to jail for his entire life.
Yeah, he almost went to jail. Yep.
So for a good reason.
But the movie's pretty damn good, man. I mean, it's not many filmmakers are making Westerns these days, and if they are, they're not making very good ones. But this was a good one, man. It's good. Like Alec Baldwin plays unbeknownst to a young adult, I guess, who is wanted for he got into a situation where he had to shoot somebody, the boy, you know, in you know, someone who was trying to steal the land out. His parents are dead, and it's just him and his little brother on this farm. They have like hardly any money and stuff. Guy come, you know, it was a scene where he fights another kid, you know, in a fight scene and stuff, ends up accidentally shooting somebody and has to flee, you know, and Alec Baldwin plays, unbeknownst to him, his grandfather, who
so he's his grandfather, but he
comes and gets him. The aunt finds out. She goes to the trial. They're going to hang the kid, and Alec Baldwin gets him out, and it's their journey where he's like educating the boy how to be a man and stuff in a tough world. And they're going across country. He's trying to get to the Mexican border. I don't want to give away.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you telling us the whole fucking movie?
No. I'm not telling you the whole movie. But that's the basic plot line. And they're traveling from, I think, Kansas to Mexico. And what happens along the way, being pursued by the marshals, by bounty hunters. There's some great gunfights, some good dialogue, you know, tough guy Western dialogue. So I went into it thinking I would hate it. and I actually ended up thinking it was pretty good. I actually enjoyed it.
I'm surprised they even finished the movie because
me too.
it was Baldwin who had a loaded gun, and he claimed he
He didn't
not know.
Yeah,
right.
He didn't know.
And so he fired it. I don't know why he pulled
thought
the trigger.
it was blanks.
He thought it was blanks.
It should have never been loaded, really.
Yeah, right. There's somebody on set that's supposed to take care of
the armor loaded live rounds.
Right. So, anyways, I'm surprised.
And normally, prop guns can't even shoot live ammunition. Normally,
yeah.
So I don't
they do all that
weird
in post-production.
Yeah. But I enjoyed the movie.
I'll check it out.
Pretty freaking good, man. There's some great Western panoramic scenery as well.
Okay, what do you got, Dan?
Man, while we're talking about it, I think it was Dan Brown. He mentioned Ozark. Ozark is a dope show, a great show, right?
One of the greatest ever. Right?
Yeah, if you have an opportunity to check it out and you haven't seen the series Ozark, look at it. It's really good. But whenever we're talking about movies and things like this, I always throw this movie out there because some people have heard about it, some people haven't. No Country for Old Men.
Oh, I love it.
That is one of my all-time favorite movies, man.
Yep,
one of my favorite movies. I love that movie.
The book is great too, Dan. If you want to read it, it's not that long, and the movie is basically a shot for shot of the book.
Really,
fairly close to the whole book.
Nice. Yeah, that movie is awesome, man. I love that movie. I would, if it's on TV and I'm flipping through, I stop and start watching it because it's that good to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, that's directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, and he's one of these directors.
Wait, No Country for Old Men was the Coen brothers.
Oh, you're right. It was the Coen brothers.
Yep.
And that same year, P.T. Anderson did the movie with Daniel Day-Lewis, There Will Be Blood or something. It's titled. And so that's why I got them confused. But the Coen brothers, any movie they make is worth watching. You just go to IMDb, look up Coen brothers. The very first movie they did was Blood Simple.
Fantastic
and what a
movie.
great fucking movie that is. Jesus. And then one of my other favorite movies of all time. Now, was this them? No, this was the guys that did The Matrix, the Wachowski brothers.
Yep.
The Bound. Dan, did you ever see
that was
Bound?
them, huh? Gina Gershon.
Yes. Did you ever see Bound, Dan?
I've never seen it. I gotta check it out.
Good,
If you are like me and you like good lesbian scenes in your movie, oh my gosh! I'm in the movie theater. I'm like trying to hide my erection. It's like, holy shit, this shit is hot. Gina Gershon and one of the Tilly sisters. I always forget Jennifer Tilly.
Jennifer Tilly. Yep.
Okay.
Tilly,
I get them confused. So
Jennifer Tilly.
Okay, but I'll tell you what, they had a sex scene in that movie that I have thought about quite frequently. By the way, Dan, you didn't catch the open to the show, but in the open to the show, I used a lot of AI, and so I'm like, some people think some of the stuff that I use because I used AI to create some very beautiful women and stuff.
Okay.
And so some people think that these are real women, but it wasn't. It was just I put into AI, very sexy ladies swaying to the music and stuff, that stuff. And so I started to think, it is true that there's a lot of stuff on the internet right now where you can't tell that it's AI. Here's a clip of something that I found. I mean, you ever seen a white chick with an ass like that, or an ass like that, or an ass like that? I'm like, this has to be AI.
All
right?
three, not in one location. I've seen one or two. I haven't seen all three in one location. No, that's
one.
That's how Aldo looks for movies. Jim.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's what I put in the search bar. Big tits matter. But it's unbelievable. 3 girls with asses like that at the same place. Dan, you nailed it, man. I was like, this has to be AI. There's no way this is right. It looks real, man. That is for sure. I haven't seen anything that I really want to share other than, I am super excited about the Chicago Bears team. I am super excited about how the Barroom Network is going to be covering the Chicago Bears team this season. I had somebody earlier say this. Let's see. It was, where is it? Somebody. Oh, there it is. George says, is Danikin going to be a permanent on the show? I don't know, Dan. I
Never
don't
know, man. Never know. I appreciate you, George, man. Good looking out. Good looking out.
There you go. There you go. We need to talk.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I can do that open over again and add your name. The line is 3 a-holes. I'll make it 4 a-holes.
three a-holes and the biggest one.
My man, Brandon Lawson, Aldo
Thanks,
Tucci, and
Brandon.
DJ3.
Yeah.
Barroom is the best. Thank you for all your
Nice.
hard work. Your hard work benefits me immensely. I appreciate you. What Brandon is talking about here, Brandon had an addiction issue. And he and I are going to talk about this, and we will too, if we're on the show with him. Talk about his struggles with addiction and how he was able to overcome them. I mean, my man Brandon hit rock fucking bottom, and I've been there with family members and so forth, and you give up hope on some people, and other people you shouldn't give up hope on, and Brandon didn't give up hope on himself, and he has taken his experiences and it's now going from prison to prison and preaching the word of God and preaching self-help and self-discipline and helping yourself and so forth. So Brandon is an incredible guy. I can't wait for him to come on to the show, talk Bears with us, because that's his passion.
Nice. Excellent.
One of the funniest things I've ever seen. Brandon gets so into Bears football. During the game, he leaves me tons of voicemails on DM. And so I actually edited some for a show last year. It's like, these fucking Bears, they're going to drive me crazy. And then the next one is, man, that was a great fucking play by Caleb. And then the next one is, fucking Eberflus, he's got to fucking go. And then the next one is, what a run by DeAndre. I knew that. It's poetry, man. It's poetry. He's passionate about the Bears. I love the guy, and I can't wait for him to join us on a future show.
Man, congratulations to him too. Big ups, man. For real,
Yeah.
Brandon. Nice. I love that.
I got one more thing, Aldo. I don't know if either of you follow the WNBA at all, but people have been throwing green dildos on the court.
Yes.
I've seen that, bro.
Sophie, stop throwing dildos on the court. You're going to hurt one of us. And some guy says, stop playing basketball in the dildo range. Classic.
That is classic.
That guy, he won the internet that day.
Yeah,
But I got to tell you, man, I'm a big fucking fan of the WNBA. I love it. And those women don't get the respect that they deserve. I kind of hate the whole dildo thing. I get it. In hockey, they used to throw the octopus. In Detroit, they probably still do. In other sports, this shit has happened. Right. But there's something about the WNBA that they should get a pass as they're trying to grow their league and trying to convince people that this is great entertainment. My wife and I, and she's not a huge basketball fan, but we sit down and we watch a bunch of Sky game, a bunch of Pacers game, and once in a while we watch teams where we don't know the players and we're learning about the league. I love the WNBA. Tooch, I see you nodding your head. You're a fan too?
Yeah, I do. I like it. I got into it recently, with players like Caitlin Clark and
from Iowa, where you're from.
Yeah, I mean, I could walk across the street to the grade school where she learned to play basketball from my house.
Nice.
So I sometimes see her at comes home for Christmas or whatever at church and Sacred Heart. And
nice.
She grew up here in West Des Moines, went to Dowling Catholic, which is right down the street from me. And learned to play basketball at Sacred Heart. And if you walked into Sacred Heart, the school, it's behind the church. There's like a trophy case of all of their trophies, like massive amounts throughout the years that, the fathers and coaches there who had, coached the young kids at basketball won. I mean, that their display case is loaded with trophies. So it's nice. I followed her, and then I like, the Chicago Sky players as well, Camila Cardoso and
the problem with the Sky
the one that's injured right now. I forget her name.
Angel Reese.
Angel Reese. Yeah, she's a good player too.
She's outstanding. The problem with the Sky is that they have no leadership at the top. The general manager doesn't have a vision for the team. I can't believe they they traded the 3rd overall draft pick for a veteran shooting guard when they could have picked up Sonia Citron from Notre Dame, who is having an excellent season with Seattle. I it's just right now they just don't have it together, and lately it's been hard to watch their games. But that's a story for another day. Dan, you into WNBA?
I like the WNBA. I like what they're doing. They're trying to grow that league, and it's looking good. I always have pushback on a little bit of things when it comes to the WNBA, because you get a lot of people that, they want to get paid this amount of money and this and the third.
Mm-hmm.
They play 40 games or 42 games, something like that. So it's half of the NBA's games. And not only that, but the NBA also pays their salaries. I don't think they've had a season where they've made actual money. The NBA has always given them some money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always say, and it's great for people to be like, they should get paid, they should get this, they should get that, and I'm all for it. But at the end of the day, you have to support it if you're going to be the person out there beating the table saying, pay these women money, pay them money. They deserve it, no doubt. But please go support it too, man. Go to a game, go buy a jersey, buy a sweatshirt, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of people that don't do that, but they have this false narrative that they run with where they talk about pay them money.
Yep.
Yeah, otherwise they're going to resort to OnlyFans.
No, but I hear you, Dan, on that, and I will point you to Pablo Torre Finds Out, I think is the name of the podcast. I think his most recent podcast. He has Dan Skipper, who was the head of ESPN, but now is one of the principal owners of the Rivaled League, the 3-person WNBA league, and he's debating David Sampson, who was the owner of the Florida Marlins team. Sampson is the capitalist. He's saying, yeah, they don't deserve because of all the reasons that you said. Skipper, however, says you can't look at it that way. When an NBA owner loses $8 million, you know what that means? That means like you losing $20 out of your pocket. They are in it for the long haul. It is, like I said earlier, it's about valuation. These franchises, if they were really losing money, would there be new owners coming in? Would there be expansion teams coming on? No, because they're looking at the future, and this thing is a cash cow that finally now they're making. And so the players recognize that, and they're saying, you know what? How come the NBA players are making 45% of the revenue coming in, and we're making less than 10%? So when you look at it from that standpoint, I don't know. I'm not an economist or anything like that, but it's interesting, other point of view.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. When you look at it percentage wise, then they should get a higher percentage definitely of what their revenue is for that team or whatever for the NBA, WNBA as a whole. So I get that part of it. I just want fans, and I want some of the people to have this. They have this desire to create. I just believe that there are a lot of people that wake up and look for something to be offended by.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying? So whenever I look at you and I say, okay, this is a person, you don't care nothing about the WNBA because you probably have never gone to a game. You've never done this, that, and the third. So how can you be the one that's in the forefront, beating the table, saying, give these, this, that, blah, blah. Go support it, man. Just go support it, and it will grow at the way it is supposed to grow. And, true enough, they should get more of a percentage, though. No doubt.
Totally agree with that.
I wish they could find some way to generate a lot more revenue for those gals, I'll tell you.
Yeah. It's tough, man, but they're able. I will say this: they're able to make. They got sneaker deals now. They got some. They're hitting on things off the court, which is good. You like to see that. And it's a different WNBA. You know what I mean? People might get mad at me for saying this, but I'll just be honest. Like back in the 90s and early 2000s, nobody, Lancome or whoever, they weren't trying to put, you didn't have Sophie Cunningham that was cute. You know what I mean? So now that you have those types of players and there's more built into that, then they're going to get more endorsement deals from companies that are looking to promote their brands and things like that.
Does Aldo know Sophie Cunningham? He might be
frozen. Up? Yeah, he froze up. He froze up. Look at that. Look at that face.
Yeah, all right. Let me see if I have anything in my notes. Again, here I had the talked about that. How about this season's expectations, Danica? How many wins do you think the Bears are good for this season? I kind of have them pegged around 8 or 9, you know, and I think that would be definitely a step in the right direction. But I mean, if part of me feels that the division, is not. Some people feel the division is the best division in football. I mean, you had Minnesota won 14 games last year. Detroit won 15, and then every team but the Bears made the playoffs. But what would you say your expectations are for this year?
Man, it's hard to put a number on it because first of all, I look at the schedule, and the schedule is difficult. You know what I mean? The Bears have a difficult schedule.
Yep.
And a lot of times you look at these teams and they're getting better as well, not just the Bears, right? So that's what I look at as well. And then you also look at the division. You got Detroit, who's going to be good. You got Minnesota, who's, depending on what J.J. McCarthy does, they're going to be good. They got weapons and things like that in Justin Jefferson. They did have a setback with their, of course, their guys, what's his name is suspended for 3 games.
Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison. So, that's a setback for them, but it won't hurt them too. It's not going to debilitate them. And then, of course, you got Green Bay, who's always a tough game for us. So at the end of the day, I would say I want to see improvement. I want to see improvement on this squad. So I would say 9 games.
That's about where I'm at.
I think they should get to 9 games. They should be competitive. And the biggest thing that I want to see, right, which will gauge if this is a successful season or not necessarily making the playoffs, because it's hard to do in the NFL. Just having meaningful games in December, late December, January, meaningful games. We haven't had meaningful games where it actually mattered. And you're in the hunt, right? Bears being in the hunt was 4-8. You know what I mean? We know we're not making it nowhere with a 4-8 record. And you're talking about you're one of those teams on the bottom right-hand side of the screen that you're looking at on Sunday that says in the hunt. And everybody's like, oh, we're in the hunt. We still have a chance mathematically. No. I want to see meaningful games being played in late December, early January. That will let me know that this season is a successful one.
We're trying to win the Super Bowl.
Hey, he said it.
He said it. He said it. Yep. He said it.
He said, we got lofty goals and trying to win Super Bowls. But I hear what you're saying, Dan. 9 wins and to see sustainable, success, execution, not the multiple false start penalties, not the bad calls on the sideline, not the poor time management. We want to see development of young players. That to me, I hate to say this, but I think you said it, Dan, to me is more important right now than anything else, because I know you got to go from step 1 to step 2, from step 3. Very rarely do you go from step 1 to championship, and it's just highly unlikely that it's going to be. But I do think that the Bears are going to get help from a division that may not be playing as well as people expect it to. I don't think the Detroit Lions are going to get off to a good start. I really do think they're going to get off to a bad start. They've got some problems here. In fact, where's my guy here?
Got no shot of getting back here.
He said
no shot. He said it. He said it. He got no shot.
He said it.
They're still the team to beat, though.
Yeah, they are.
Someone's got to knock them off the top of the hill.
Right, but it's like Greg says, they didn't lose one really good offensive coordinator. They lost 2 because Aaron Glenn is a bad motherfucker.
Yep.
He took that defense that was rattled with injuries, and they played at a high level. And they played on a team where the offense didn't give a shit about complimentary football and giving the defense a rest. They just wanted to score quick and shit. So, and then the Packers, I don't know. There's some talks coming out of Packers camp that there's concerns there with injuries. Players are starting to get tired of Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur was yelling at Tucker Kraft, the tight end, saying, you fumbled the ball. And Tucker said afterward practice, I don't like being pointed out there. So there's some shit going on in Green Bay.
Didn't they take down Jordan Love's highlights or
yes!
his play? Because he was like 13 for 30 with 3 interceptions. interceptions or whatever in Family Night or something. I love seeing stuff like that. I like that. I enjoy
Me
that.
too. And then the Vikings with JJ McCarthy, that's a wild card there, man. The guy has never. They say he's running an NFL offense. Are you kidding me? When he's throwing 9 passes a game, there may be pro offenses, and he's learned how to hand off the ball 30, 40 times, but he hasn't learned an NFL offense where he's throwing 20, 30 times.
Yep,
So for us to expect that JJ is going to have rookie of the year, the guy that I'm worried about is Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels continues to impress. Look at we got a visitor here, Tooch. Let's see if we can get set up. But
there he is. He's here.
Right.
Look at that shocked face when I say Jaden Daniels. But Dan, don't you think that Jaden Daniels, based on what he did in his rookie year, and now the reports that are coming out of Washington that he is lighting it up, even with Terry McLaurin not playing in camp, that kind of concerns me a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It concerns you because he's going to always have a comparison to Caleb Williams, right? So if Caleb stumbles out the gate a little bit, just a little bit, and Jaden takes off, I mean, the temperature's already ratcheted up because Jaden went to the playoffs last year. Jaden had a run in the playoffs last year. He beat the Lions last year in the playoffs, right? So when you have that, the temperature, the expectation is ratcheted up on Caleb a little bit, and people get less patient, right? They become less patient with it. It's like, man, we see this other guy who went 2, and he's doing great and glorious things. What's going on here? You know what I mean? So that's the thing. You know, expectation has gone. Caleb was number 1 overall, so the expectation is always going to be there. He's a Bear quarterback, so it's ratcheted up more. And then when you have a guy like Jaden Daniels who's putting in work, even Bo Nix had a great season last year as well. If you look at his numbers compared to Jaden Daniels, he might have been better number-wise, right? But he didn't win as many games. So that's the thing. When you go out there and you win games, all the numbers, whatever, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter.
I totally agree. What do you think, Tooch?
Well, those players, Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels, they landed in better spots than Caleb Williams. You know, the coaching situation in Denver was a good landing spot for Bo Nix with Sean Payton. Yep. And then Jaden Daniels had Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury, and they played to Jaden Daniels' strength. Well, it was like a stretch of games where the Commanders didn't even punt. It was like 8 games in a row. The punter didn't have to punt ever. They were going for it on 4th down. But Daniels would scramble a little bit and pick up the 4th down. They didn't need to punt. So yeah, that's
what Caleb said we were going to be doing, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's right.
Ironic.
Hey, Zim Zimmerman has joined us.
Is he here?
Yes, he is. He's not.
Okay, it's audio only, huh?
It's audio only. Zim, are you there?
I am here, guys. Sorry, audio only, not my usual quality. I'm currently in a vehicle, so, hands-free only, not trying to do the microphone thing, but thought I'd hop on and join you. Dan, thank you so much for coming on, man. This has been awesome to listen to while I've been wrapping up at work tonight.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate you guys inviting me and having me on. Your segment, the song was absolutely cold, man. I like it. I enjoyed it very much. I was cracking up the whole time through.
Well, how'd you come up with that idea, Zim?
I mean, how did I come up with that idea? I'm a Bears fan. I just lived it, And I heard what you guys were saying about Hassan Waddle and all that, but the joke is that the white receivers always seem to wash out, man. It's these training camp guys that we always fall in love with, and they never turn out to be anything. And then you guys went into this whole breakdown afterwards, like J.P. Richardson, man, he could be like a Wes Welker, man. He could be like this weapon in the slot. And then I'm like reliving having this exact conversation about Tanner Gentry and Daniel Braverman and Mark Mariani. And I'm like, we've been here before, guys. So
you're in a car now, Zim? What are you doing? Hand free? What are you jerking off or something?
No, I have my hands at 10 and 2. I am driving the speed limit with my eyes on the road.
Man, that's a major curve, man. If you got it at 10 and 2.
Exactly. Dan fits right into the show.
Let me stop.
Nah, he just got started, Zim. But hey, Zim, like Dan said, compliments on the song "White Wide Receiver Blues." And are you going to do more songs like that for us in the future?
Of course, yes. So, I mean, the general idea is, the bar room once upon a time featured music on on our
Every
weekly
episode.
flagship shows. Yeah.
That's true.
And
100
it's
proof.
something that I think we did a really good job with. That it drew a lot of connections to the audience, and I would love to try to bring that back. So, as long as there's relevant topics to make music about, I'll continue doing it, and hopefully even get to the point sometime in the future where I'm making it myself and not just shipping it out to AI. But at the same time, AI is a much better vocalist than myself, so we might as well take advantage of that.
I have to agree with that, Zim. I mean, the vocals on that song were fantastic. I don't think you could ever match that. But your experiences as a musician is what made that good. Dan, he shared like about 3 or 4 different iterations of it, and he kept massaging it, working with AI and changing the prompts and so forth. And it ends up being something like Swift from Swift Sports Network saying he wants a copy of that so he can load it onto his Spotify so he can listen to it regularly.
Yeah.
It's really good stuff, Zim. So where are you headed right now, Zim? Are you headed to the airport?
No, I'm headed home right now. I just finished my shift at work. I got to go home. I got to finish doing some packing and stuff and get ready to hit the road for Chicago. We're driving. So this is the Midwest. We drive everywhere. We don't take airplanes.
Yeah, absolutely.
7-8 hour drive tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, and tomorrow,
Be safe, man.
Yeah, be safe, Zim. You're right in time for us to close the show. I'm going to be at Bears Camp tomorrow. I do have an extra ticket, which I was reminded by when I looked at my phone, because somebody told me I can't use the ticket, so give it away on your show. If you want to go to Bears Camp tomorrow, I can transfer my electronic ticket to you. All you got to do is reach out to me. My DMs are open on X. It's at Barroom Network. And if you want to reach me, should I give out my phone number? No, I shouldn't do that. X is the only one.
Don Burr calling you all the time.
Yeah, that fucker. Dan, do you know who Don Burr is?
No, who is it?
This motherfucker, he's a Detroit Lions fan, right?
Oh, yeah, I do know him. I do know him.
He goes everywhere, Bears press conferences everywhere. And I tolerated him for over a year. I don't mind the Detroit Lions fan coming in and talking shit because we all know the truth about the Lions.
This may have been our only shot.
Yes, it was. It was. And so, but he started to criticize my guests. And when he did that, that's when I snapped. And he tries, he's really, really fucking good at using aliases and trying to get back onto the show.
A million burner accounts.
Yeah, Milton Wisenberg of Detroit. Yeah, fuck you. I know who you are, Don Burr. So I keep kicking him out. But nonetheless, I don't even know why I brought this up. But Zim, I love you. You going to be back next week or not?
TBD. I will still be in Chicago. I don't know if I have a quiet place that I can set aside and do the show or not. So it will be determined based on the situation where I'm at.
You do the show from Aldo's house.
Yeah, come on in and do the show here.
I mean, it's definitely not out of the realm of possibilities. It is absolutely not off the table. So we will see. All
right. Dan, what you got coming up? Are the Three Kings coming back, or are you coming to bear their souls?
Yeah.
What's the deal?
Absolutely. We got a couple of things from jumping off. We'll be back on with a new episode next week after the Bears' first preseason game. So we're looking forward to that.
Nice.
And I'm always here, man. Anytime you guys want to have me on, I'm willing to come. I love being here. I've enjoyed it every single time I've been here. Man, the laughs are fun. The content is great. You guys know the game. I respect it. Your audience is awesome. It's just so much good here, man. I appreciate it.
Wait till you spend 2 hours with Zim. I mean, some of his takes have become legendary in terms of what the fuck is this guy talking about? Great musician, but did he ever play the game? Zim, are you there still?
Unfortunately.
I love you, brother. That's my guy, Zim Zimmerman. I had not, Dan, I had not smoked marijuana for years, like 20 years, 30 years. And then Zim is in town. And we're at Soldier Field. We met at this huge gathering. And he goes, "You want to smoke?" And all of a sudden I said, "Fuck it, man. Let's do it." I haven't been able to stop since.
I drink cannabis now. So
yeah, what is that? How many? How much? How many
cannabis
grams?
seltzer? It's only 4, but puts you in a nice little zone there.
It's good. Yeah. That's enough to feel it up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Not bad.
Dan, did you drink or smoke during the show at all?
No, I didn't. Not today, but I should have. You know what I mean? I will next time.
Yes.
Yes. I should have.
It's like a prerequisite for people. What the hell are some of these people saying? Like this guy here clearly has smoked and snorted before joining us.
It's Beldar.
It's Beldar.
That's
right. I love the Coneheads,
participating in extracurricular activities.
Anyway, a
the
great
Coneheads
time.
would try to eat something. It was always like really weird when they were trying to eat this weird food and stuff.
Oh my god!
Dan Aykroyd and James.
Saturday Night Live, yeah,
it's classic.
Great
Ray
stuff.
Newman was a classic.
Mr. Shorty says $6 a can, Tooch. They actually sell them here in Georgia.
That's a little less, about $5 a can, $4.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I've been looking for them. I can't find them anywhere.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, we got them at the grocery store here. I just want to get in groceries.
The grocery store? Wow.
Yeah. I'll tell you,
you
man.
live in
There's like,
Iowa, Dan. That's why.
yeah. I know.
Yeah.
People actually live in Iowa. Can you believe it, Dan? Okay.
They sell guns and CBD drinks at gas stations.
The other day I went to this. I had a buddy in town, and we were coming back from dinner. Like, let's stop and get some beer. So like on the way to my house down the street, there's a drive-through liquor place where you can like drive through and get 6-pack or 12-pack, whatever you want to get. But I was like, let's go inside, man. And I'm like, how good could this? But they had some fucking killer whiskeys, like $1,500 a bottle, all these great. I'm like, holy shit, this is great, man. I gotta come in here more often, man. Awesome selection.
Nice.
Yeah. And then,
Part of me loves.
I like those little drive-through places, man.
Yeah.
I like those.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
Part of me loves the idea of being able to go in the drive-through. Give me a fucking bottle of the bad example because it's Dicko. Give me a bottle of 4 Roses. I want to, and then get back on the road, open it up and stuff, and crash into people. That's the bad part. So I don't know. I'm a little 50-50 on that.
Because although things no need to fake it, he already made it. He's the man with the plan, but to you, he's the Podfather Part 2.
Yeah, Steven Zim Zimmerman dropping a banger.
Zim, you came up with that one too?
Is he still here?
Yeah, that's all off the dome. Yeah.
Yep.
Damn,
Nice.
man.
There's a whole song around it. We'll play one of these.
Yeah, I'll
days,
play.
I'm
There's
sure.
a whole song. Yeah, it's a full
We'll
length.
get there. We'll get there. We don't.
I
need
just
to rush
wanted
the
a
process.
drop. He gave me a little drop today.
Well, we gotta learn more about Dan so we can make a song about him. But in the meantime, keep making more songs about me. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can keep writing them about me too, but as long as they're nice and pretty and fluffy.
Okay. So this is what he's talking about here. Let me play this.
Zimmerman and the hard rockin' style. Undiscovered music genius. Zim Zimmerman and the Chicago Bears. Bet on Chicago Bears.
And every time I leave, a little part of me dies. Hard rocking style of a man named Zim Zimmerman. Hard rocking style of a man named Zim Zimmerman.
That's
We're
how
rocking out here, Danikin.
I like that. I like it. I like that.
I have to admit, out of all the songs that we've been producing lately, that's the one that I find myself around the house.
Me
Fucking
too.
Make,
My kids are like, "What the hell are you singing?" They're like,
that's
"Shut
the
up."
one. That's
like, who's Zimmerman?
So Dan, if we make a song about you to introduce you to our fans, what style of music should we use?
Man, that's a good one.
Because
That's a
I
good one. See,
I
wanted
always
to
go
be
back to Motown R&B because that's how I grew up. But please go ahead.
do it. That's a good one. Do Motown R&B. I love it. I would like it.
I got
Okay.
I got a
I
song
might
idea.
have to send you some pictures too, and have like
Please.
the little like a little Motown CD cover
love
and all of that.
Motown.
Type. Yeah. Do something like that.
Oh, we got a deal. We got a deal.
That'll be good. I like that.
I like that. Motown. I grew up listening to Smokey and the Temptations and stuff. I grew up in a great household because we had moved into an apartment in New York with my grandmother and her two sons. So I grew up with my uncles, and they were like, 5 to 10 years older than me. One of them was a big Beatles fan, and one of them was a big Motown fan. So as a kid, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, that's what I grew up with. Listening to Motown and the Beatles. Beatles, the greatest songwriters. Motown, the greatest music company that turned Hitsville is what they were called.
Yeah.
They were turning out hits all the time with different bands, Supremes, Smokey. So I love that shit, man. And anytime I get a chance to revisit that, I'm there. So Dan, I got a song coming for you, brother.
Good stuff, man.
I got an idea for Zim. Zim, can you write a Big Tits Matter song?
Jesus Christ.
He'll have to come back and watch this later.
But if you're going to do anything about a woman's body, please make it be. Zim, can you see this, Zim?
Yes, I saw it earlier. Yes, I just glanced and saw your wonderful basketball video with some real fundamentals happening there. It looks like the officials really getting involved in the correct way. Yep.
Definitely. I like that.
All right, guys.
He said it and then got at a loss for words because the booties were so rotund.
I think his wife is in the car. If Mrs. Zimmerman is there, please give her our love, and we hope to have her on the show. We had her on the show once, right, Zim?
Maybe in passing.
Yeah,
but it would have been very briefly, probably just yelling from the background.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I got a memory of her sitting on your lap during the show. That didn't happen, huh?
I think that was post show.
Yeah, okay. That's what it was.
My wife used to be a drop. Phil called my phone. My wife answered. She's like, "He's making a strawberry shake," in the accent.
I remember that.
I remember.
That was funny.
And then Phil made a song. He's making a strawberry shake song.
That was hilarious.
And fuck you, and fuck you all. Sucks.
That's not your wife, is it?
No. Not yet.
All right. For some reason, I have this urge to pop onto Pornhub, so I'm going to say goodbye to Dan. Thank you very much for being our guest tonight. Tooch, you always are bringing it. Zim, thank you very much for popping in. I know you got a hectic schedule. The last thing on your mind is this show because of you got to get your family ready for a big travel and stuff. But thank you very much for joining us. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for leaving the invitation open. Dan, again, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. It was really great. Lots of good insight. It seemed like the chat enjoyed a little reprieve from my atrocious takes. So thank you for pleasing them with some nice things to say.
For sure, man. I had a good time, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. Always a pleasure to do it. Man, I have a blast every time, man. It's a good time. It's
Love
a good
it.
time.
Love it. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for checking us out. I'm going to be at Bears Camp tomorrow. Anybody want the extra ticket I hold? Zim, you're not going to be in town to go to practice tomorrow, right?
No, I won't be able to attend practice until next week.
Oh, it's next week. I thought you were going to be there for a practice this week, but no, that makes sense. All right.
Trying,
Stop
but
at the world's largest truck stop on the way.
Yeah.
We might. I haven't
Wolcott,
really.
Iowa.
And flood his inbox, people. If you want that ticket, flood his inbox. And he said that he loves big tits, so flood it.
Exactly. Dan is absolutely right. If I can have sex with your wife, you get the ticket. I'm just kidding. I just want to say hi to your wife. No, I've clearly had way too much to drink, which is why Pornhub is in my near future. And you guys, Tooch, Danikin, Zim Zimmerman, you are the absolute best. In the chat, of course, you are fantastic as well. We will see you all very soon. I think our next show is Friday, the Willis Twin Towers, and they're going to have a good one for us. I will see you guys then. Bye-bye.